Out.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. Let's get the latest news. Here's Nicole Pullman.
A Wolverhampton man and his girlfriend have been reported missing in Mexico after a hurricane. Paul Whitehouse and Simone Wood, who's from London, were on board a yacht which capsized when Hurricane Odile hit the town of La Paz. The British Embassy says consular staff are in contact with their families. The United States Secretary of State John Kerry has said there is a role for Iran to play in the global effort against Islamic State militants in Iraq and Syria. Last week, the US said it would be inappropriate for Iran to join the US-led military coalition against IS because of its engagement in Syria and elsewhere. But Mr. Kerry told the United Nations Security Council the efforts to eliminate the Islamists were more than just military, and Iran could play a part.
Taking out an entire network, decimating and discrediting a militant cult masquerading as a religious movement. The fact is, there is a role for nearly every country in the world to play, including Iran.
The parents of a toddler being treated at Birmingham Children's Hospital for leukemia are facing an anxious wait to see whether a donor from America will be a match which saves his life. 20-month-old Khalid Adam has acute myeloid leukemia. He's received cells from a newborn baby's umbilical cord to treat the blood cancer, but he's still in hospital seeing if it will have any effect. His mother is Tracy Kybird.
They say 100 days before Khalid can have a bone marrow operation test to see whether he's got a new bone marrow being built up from the donor, because what will happen now is he will have the donor's bone marrow, a baby girl's, and 97 days of waiting.
The Blues manager Lee Clark says they won't sit back and invite pressure from high-flying Norwich this afternoon. The whole match is live at 3 o'clock here on BBC WM 95.6, the station for commentary this season. Clark knows his players need to be on top of their game to counter the Canaries.
Yeah, they've got a very good squad and a very good team, and they've scored 7 goals in the last game and a half, so we have to do it right defensively, but we also can't sit in and just let them come at us all the time. We've got to give them problems as well as an attacking team.
The weather scattered showers this morning with the risk of thunder, drier and brighter this afternoon, and a top temperature of 20 Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Hey, we virtually finished the amount of time Molly went on for. It's nearly time for Daz to come in. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. Not a word of Scotland. Let this be the first Scottish free show on the BBC in the last 3 months. Apart from... Are there only 4 million people in Scotland? I'm confused by the numbers. When the vote came through on the independence thing, and it said something like 2.1 million people said no and 1.6 million people said yes, I thought, oh, that's Glasgow. Let's wait for the rest of the country to go. That's the whole of Scotland. There are 4 million people in Scotland. How many people in Birmingham? Let's find... It's probably about 4 or 5 million. Birmingham could probably go and take Scotland if we wanted to. Is that true? There are only 4 million people in Scotland. What the hell was the fuss all about? Seriously? Also, Andy Murray. I'm really pleased I won the tennis tournament and I wish he was still independent. He's ruined his mum's chances on Strictly, yes. And also a little bit of road rage. Let's hear your road rage stories, please. 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
There are only 4 million people in Scotland. Am I the only person that's surprised by that? Genuinely, I saw those figures, I thought, all right, that's Glasgow. Wonder what the rest of the country is going to make of it. Oh, hang on, that's the whole country? 4 million people? That seems ridiculous to me. What have we learnt about Scotland in the last 2 years? There's only 4 million people live there, and some of them are upset that they're not independent. That's pretty much it. It seems like a waste of time, doesn't it? Well, one of the things we've learnt is that because of speaking out about Scotland, Andy Murray has scuppered the chances of his mum winning Strictly Come Dancing, the dancing television programme that's still going on. It's on the front page of some of the papers. The BBC's canny, isn't it? Getting it on the front page of some of the papers, it's canny to do that. What paper? It's on one of the papers. Nope, not any of those ones that I'm holding in my hand. It doesn't matter. But Andy Murray's mum, her chances of winning Strictly Come Dancing are ruined because he made a miserable tweet. Andy Murray, miserable? No, I won't hear a word of it. He's the most joyful human being of all time. We'll talk about Andy Murray a little bit later on. Will you be cheering him at his next Wimbledon? 03453 009956. Before that... little bit of road rage. Well, there's been a horrible story in Birmingham this week. A horrible road rage story. Police have released CCTV footage after a woman attacked another woman after she'd been asked to move the car she was in, blocking her in a road in Handsworth Wood in Birmingham. Now, I saw the footage today. It's not just a little slap. It's not just a little poke to the eyes, as if that wasn't horrible enough. This woman goes absolutely back. She goes bonkers. It's a really horrible attack. So your thoughts, please, your stories, your road rage incidents that you have seen, that you have been involved in. I had some rather pleasant gentlemen this week who were asking for a fight on the M25. They wanted me to pull over to the hard shoulder and have a fight with them. Well, hang on a second. There were two of them. And I'm not very good at fighting. So that meant it was never going to happen. Imagine this, right? They hadn't let me out. They'd been idiots and they hadn't let me out. So I got behind them and I flashed them. The lights, that's all. And so then they slowed down and then they went behind me and they were right up my backside. So I pulled over and I let them overtake them and I flashed them again. This seemed to get them very, very angry. This then involved them driving in front of me and putting on their brakes. This is on the motorway. Driving alongside me, flipping the bird, the middle finger, and making the gesture of a fist and pointing to the hard shoulder. OK, yeah, I'll go over to the hard shoulder and have a fight with you, shall I? The way I got out of it was by nodding agreement and giving them the thumbs up. I was nodding, giving them the thumbs up and making a fist to say, yeah, fight it, yeah, let's have a fight now. We pulled over towards the hard shoulder. I waited till they slowed down sufficiently and boy, oh boy, did I put the pedal to the metal and I drove away. 03453 009956. I can't, this has happened to me a couple of times. I can't be the only person that's been challenged to a fight on a motorway, can I? Really? They caught up with me. Their car was a little bit nippier than the Polo, which is unusual. And to avoid confrontation, I got my mobile phone and I pretended I was filming them. I don't know why I pretended. I should have actually, just filmed them. So I pretended I was filming them and they went away, kind of laughing to themselves. Now, this is this is probably quite an extreme example. You must have your examples of where this is. Why do we think that in a car it's acceptable to be really aggressive and threatening? You wouldn't do that walking down the street, would you? Getting the funniest looks from everyone you meet, would you? You wouldn't start bumping into people or going really close to people and just going, ah, in their face and flicking the V's at them and offering to... that wouldn't happen. So why do we feel we can do it in cars? What is it about being inside that metal box that makes you think, yeah, do you know what? I am Captain Scarlet, indestructible. I can do what the hell I want. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. Your stories on this, please. Because things like this must have happened to you. I remember once in London, and some fella had cut me up, so I beeped him, flashed him, and then he stopped in front of me, stopped in the middle of the road in front of me, got out of the car, came up to, and he was very, very angry, came up to my window. Mohammed, get this, he came up to my window, right?
Yeah.
And he said, if you effing do that again, you effing C-bomb, I will kill you. Now, this bloke, with the greatest of respect, he was in his 80s. An 80-year-old man, Mohammed, shouldn't be getting angry like that, should he?
No.
Bad for his heart. What's happened to you, boss?
You know, it was last year, I just take over a car and he flashed and said, what's up? He swear at me.
He swore you.
For a mile or a half, and then I have a camera and my car is recording. When I'm driving, is recording. So,
Look, the video camera?
Yeah, video camera is recording. I suggest buy one, is cheap, £120. So I record him, then he caught me 2-3 times and near to have an accident. And I had a job in New Cross. He followed me back again. He get off from his car. He punched the bonnet and he said, I will kill you. I'm a taxi driver, so we're not allowed to fight with the people. So I called the bike, so I said, got a problem, this guy is there. So they said, okay, he was hearing, and I show him I'm recording you. So the next day I take it to the police, and police arrest him, and he got caught, and I give him the video to the police. They give him a 2 sentence. That's what happened.
You must have been terrified, Mohammed. There's some nut job banging on your bonnet saying he's going to kill you.
Definitely. He tried push to take off the door, and so... If it was not a taxi, I'm allowed to go for. But if I fight, I lose my badge. That's the problem. I couldn't do anything.
What do you think it is, Mohammed, that makes people think that when they're in their car, they can do whatever they want?
Well, stupidity. They are stupid, really.
That's it. But do you know what? No, you don't need to go any further than that. You're right. They are stupid, really. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? They're stupid. There's got to be more to it than that, though, hasn't there? What makes us think that when we're in our car... Is it because of the Knight Rider? Is that what it is? Because he thinks he's a little bit indestructible, the old Michael Knight, doesn't he? Is that what it is? 03453 009956. Someone threw a dice at me as well. I was in my car, not getting on with the gentleman next to me. Hey, by the way, one of my favourite things to do, you know when you kind of get stuck in traffic and then someone pulls up next to you with their windows wide open and they are playing drum and bass or house music or rap music very, very loudly. You know that? Really, really loud. Do you know what I like to do? I like to wind down my windows and play Radio 4 very, very loudly. Oh, a little bit of The Archers or Eddie Mair played incredibly loudly. That teaches those guys a lesson. Let me tell you. 03453 009956. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Lisanne. Maybe I've broke... Don't give me that look, Molly. I may have broken the computer. Hang on. Lisanne, are you there?
I'm here now, Ian. Hello.
That's OK. I apologise. Away you go, sir.
That's all right. Well, it's good news for you on traffic around Birmingham. No major problems in the city centre. Motorway-wise, locally things are moving well, but out towards the Warwickshire stretch of the M6, still slow going from junction 4 because of barrier repairs 3A to 3. So just take a little bit of extra time if you're still making the late getaway for the Norwich match along to the A14 and the A11. They're both moving fine. Locally, as I say, starting the weekend in pretty good shape. No delays or problems on trains. And if you can update us, it's BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
Thank you very much.
On a Wednesday, what we do is Dilemma Day.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
Well, listen, what we're going to do for this lady then in Smethwick? She's there knowing that her daughter is gay or she's got good suspicions and worried about what the rest of the family would think.
I'd say stuff the rest of your family. Your daughter comes first.
If you had a daughter and she came to you one day and said, look, Dad, this is how I am.
I'll be totally honest with you, her partner wouldn't be allowed to come to the house. She'd still be part of my family.
This thing about the ladies that saying, she's never going to have a family. Why not?
She needs to sit down with her and talk about it. Give her a big hug. Tell her that she loves her and she'll always love her.
Caroline Martin.
Monday to Friday, 12 till 2.
BBC WM
95.6.
If my daughter came to me and said, Dad, I'm gay, I'd say, first of all, I don't have a daughter. Who are you, strange woman? Get out of my house. But if one of my boys did it, I'd say, all right, thanks for telling us. Next. 03453 009956. Road rage. Police have released CCTV footage after a woman attacked another woman after she'd been asked to move the car she was in, which was blocking her in a road in Handsworth Wood in Birmingham. It's a nasty attack. The 44-year-old woman suffered a lump to her head and bruising following the assault. Well, it kind of got us thinking about road rage and why it seems our brains apparently fall out when we get into a car. Well, my next guest suffered a terrifying attack in Birmingham city centre. Now, she still doesn't want to use her real name. She wants to be referred to as Sarah. Why is that, Sarah? You're still afraid of what may potentially happen? Hello, Sarah? Oh, you're there. So, hello, Sarah. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, it's a little bit quiet. Yeah.
Sorry, it's very low.
That's.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Great. Yes, it was such a frightening experience. Naturally, I'll always drive with the doors locked now and always be aware of my surroundings. But, it really has made me quite weary about where I drive and who's around me and, just my awareness, really, letting people giving way as much as possible.
What happened, Sarah? What happened? Try and describe it to us.
I was driving home from work about 6:30, rush hour in Birmingham, and a young man, I think he was 18 years old, and his girlfriend were desperately trying to push in front of all the traffic, and it's so bumper to bumper, you're not going anywhere. And because he couldn't physically get in front of me because there was a traffic light in the way, he got really, really cross and took his anger out on my car. He got out the car with a machete and he slashed my tyres. But he was trying to get into my car for a while. He was pulling out the door and it was so frightening. I had no battery on my phone and I literally had to wait for him to go until someone else called the police, and he was sentenced actually very recently. They did track him down 2 weeks later. And he's been sentenced to 2 weeks in prison.
Oh, what for threatening a woman with a machete? Oh, nice one. Well done.
Yeah,
great work.
I know, and also I had to pay for the repairs of my vehicle.
Oh.
I don't get any of that money back. So that's justice, unfortunately.
When he started to get out of the car, because I've had people get out of the car at me, and what were you feeling?
Oh, my heart was palpitating. I was just absolutely I can't even speak. I was speechless. I was so scared. And I remember my doors were locked, and I saw him in my side mirror coming towards me. Because what happened is the first time he got out, he pulled up my door handle, and then he went back, and his girlfriend actually got out and came and started swearing at me through the window. They were just crazy people, and then he got out again, and he had pulled something out of, from the car, and he was holding it down by his ankle. It was very strange, and I thought, what has he got in his hand? And, you just don't know what he's going to do, and I couldn't go anywhere because of the traffic. I couldn't go left or right or forward or backwards. I was stuck. But luckily, there was an off-duty police officer that witnessed everything and confirmed that it was a machete.
And he slashed the tyre. How many tyres did he slash?
He slashed 2 of them.
Okay.
2 of the tyres, and then got in the car because there were quite a few people looking. He had no shame. He wasn't fearful. It really is quite concerning, as a British citizen, that you can't be safe even in the busiest times with everyone watching. They're just not fearful. There's no remorse.
I'm assuming then, Sarah, this gentleman, he was then stuck in the traffic, was he? So he was just stuck in his car as well?
Yeah, he just went and got back in his car afterwards, and as the traffic moved, he drove round, and he must have gone out of his way to get out, but he really pushed through, and he went down a side road. I think it was a no entry road, in fact, and it just all happened very quickly, and my car obviously fell to one side because of the tyres, and Good Samaritans fortunately came to my rescue and called the police. And then, my car went into forensics. So I was using public transport for a while, and I won't get any money back for any of this.
Well.
It really is not very fair.
How long ago did this happen, Sarah?
Gosh, how long did it happen? It was about, I think it was a couple of months ago now.
Oh, so it's still recent then? It's okay. I can because you do still sound very upset by the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm originally from London, and people think, oh, London, the city, it's so dangerous. And I'm 30, and I've never experienced anything like that in my whole time living in London.
You must have questioned how somebody could be so brazen and angry and, well, let's say it, nuts to do that. Have you come up with any theories?
Well, in this case was, there were mitigating circumstances. This man, he had just been released from prison on another offence. He's known to the police. He was highly aggressive. He wasn't tagged, so he was on the run for 2 weeks anyway. There were lots of reasons that he shouldn't have been there. And he was happy to get. It was easy to get out of prison, arm himself with a machete a few days later. Really, this is a guy that is a natural aggressor. He's really not. But as the sergeant said, he's a real nasty piece of work.
Yeah, and he got 2 weeks for this. Great.
Yeah, I know. So I'm sure he'll be completely. That will deter him from ever hurting anyone else.
He'll learn his lesson. Sarah, listen, I'm what a horrible story, but I really appreciate you sharing it with us this morning. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much indeed. Flippin' heck. He gets out of the car with a machete and comes and slashes two of your tyres. That is literally nuts, isn't it? Isn't it? We're going to be... do you know what I nearly said then? I said we're going to be hard-pushed to beat that, as though it was some kind of competition. Not at all. You know what I mean when I say that. We're going to be hard-pushed to find anything as extreme as that. But... these stories, big and small, they can be very, very terrifying, can't they? In fact, the small ones can be just as scary. I've seen fellas shouting at women in cars. How does that work? 03453 009956. Two things on this. I want your stories, please. I want your stories. Also, can we try and work out why people would do this? What is the reasoning behind it? I tell you who I'd love to speak to today. If you've done it, if you've been one of these people that has lost your temper in a car, I'm imagining that the people who do it, you don't recognise that you're one of the people that does it. You think you are being completely calm and rational and that everybody else is an idiot and it's your right to threaten them. 03453 009956. Who's going to be brave enough to call out... Oh, hang on a minute. Ronnie?
Hello?
You've done this, have you? Not the machete thing, obviously, but you've got out of your car.
No, I did. I have got out of my car, yeah.
What did you do, mate?
What it was, we was on the Borsley Green.
Yeah.
The Borsley Green Road, and I don't know if you know it, but it is a very busy road.
Yep.
And I come to a set of traffic lights at the crossroads. All the traffic in front of me had gone, and now the lights were still green, but if I'd gone any further, I'd have been blocking the road off, the crossroads off.
Beautiful, yep.
So I just sat at the green light. Taxi driver behind me, beeping on his horn, giving me the hand gestures.
Oh.
So I looked at him in the mirror, shrugged as if to say, what am I supposed to do? And he carried on and carried on. So eventually I did get out of the car and I walked up to him and I was like, look, mate, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Then I was racist. I was all this, I was all that, I was all the other.
Ronnie, why were you being racist?
Because I was a different colour to him.
Oh, he was accusing you of being racist.
He was accusing me of being racist because I won't move out of his way.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, where am I supposed to go, mate?
Yeah.
If I pull forward, the lights turn, I'm blocking the traffic, then people from the left and right can't get past. But he went on and on and on and on. And eventually, my partner had to get out of the car and just call me back because you could see I was losing my temper.
Well, I was about to say...
He just couldn't see sense.
Ronnie, I was about to say, you are explaining it in a very calm, down-to-earth fashion. I would imagine at the time you weren't being quite so calm, were you?
Not as calm as I am on the phone now, no.
Yeah.
I was when I first got out of the car. It wasn't a problem. I just wanted to go around and explain to me, look, mate, I can't go nowhere. Well, I can, but I'll just block off all the road if I do it.
But why did you get out of the car, Ronnie? Because that in itself is an aggressive thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. He could have had a knife, he could have had a gun, he could have had anything. Karate skills.
I know, yeah, but I mean, I've probably been sitting on that Borsley Green for half an hour in traffic anyway. And you're sitting in traffic, and it does get frustrating. And I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought, I'm not going across, even though the light's green, I'm not going across it because I'm just going to block all the road off. But you just couldn't see that.
You know the best thing to do when someone's kicking off in another car?
What's that?
Smile and wave at them or blow them kisses. That drives them absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I'll have to try that in future.
Ronnie, I think you should try that in future. Thank you very much indeed. 03453 009956. It drives them nuts. Little cheeky wave, thumbs up. Fun-dooby-doozy. Blow them a little kiss. Oh, they hate it. They hate it. That's... Marie's in Coseley. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning.
Good morning, Marie. How are you on this miserable morning?
Miserable day. Fine.
It's winter now, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's autumn.
No, it's winter.
No.
Yeah. It's nearly Christmas.
Oh, don't say that.
Hey, I am so... Around this time of year, towards the end of September, man, I'm ready for Christmas, Marie. Bring it on. They can't start selling that stuff in the shops quick enough. I love it. Has anybody seen any Christmas decorations or stuff being sold yet in shops? They should do. It's, what is it, the 20th of September? That stuff should be out in the shops right now.
The Halloween stuff is.
Forget that American nonsense. Although I think we invented it, actually. It's the 95 days until Christmas.
Well, I'm not counting.
Are you drinking a gin and tonic?
No, I just had a cough.
Oh, OK. Right, fine. Marie, what would you like to say this morning?
It's horrible, really, but my favourite thing with impatient drivers is to take my teeth out and give them a big grin.
Oh...
Yeah, that's the reaction.
There is something special about a gummy lady, isn't there?
Well, it leaves them thinking for a while, doesn't it? It gives me a laugh anyway.
So, what? You pop all your teeth out and?
No, I've had false teeth since I was 9, so I'm quite an expert. I just drop them down.
Why did you? Why since 9? What happened at 9?
Well, I had TB and I lost all my teeth, so.
Oh,
I'm quite an expert with them, actually.
All of your teeth?
Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
I didn't know that teeth. I didn't know that that TB and teeth were connected.
No, well, it's. I don't want to go into too much detail. It wasn't actually the TB. It was the heavy penicillin.
Of course.
It rots your teeth.
Of course it does. Yes, there are lots of children with stripes in their teeth.
That's the one.
From when they took penicillin as kids.
Yeah.
You see. Oh, blimey.
But it's particularly effective with boy racers, and they do the call me sign. No, on the phone.
Oh, really?
Give me a ring.
You know what? You know why they're doing that, don't you? You know, I can't go into too much detail. It's an early morning show, but boy, they're pleased to see you, Marie. Marie, can I ask you a question, please?
What?
Are you a fan of the Strictly Come Dancing television programme?
I've never watched it. No.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, I thought I was talking to a woman. You've never watched Strictly?
No, I can't stand it. No.
Are you an X Factor person?
Only at the beginning where you get the
mentally ill people, yeah, they're funny. Because I'm not a fan of Strictly, but Strictly is kind of kicking off, so it's all over the papers. And there is a big story today that Andy Murray, Andy Murray, I'm really glad I wanted to that because he did a bit of a silly tweet towards the end of the Scottish independence vote. Remember that? There are now people are worried that his mum is going to lose on Strictly Come Dancing because of him.
Well, it's possible because people do a quick judgment vote, don't they, I suppose, on those kind of shows.
I suppose so.
No, I suppose they do. But I actually think he's got a wicked sense of humour.
Andy Murray?
Yeah, I do.
Give me an example.
I can't remember the player he was playing against, but he threw his bat down and it broke.
Yeah.
Was it the other player slammed his bat down?
Jimmy Connors or Bjorn Borg, probably.
No, much more recent than that.
Oh.
It's only been like last year or the year before.
Boris Becker? I don't really know modern tennis players.
No, I don't know the name of the fella, but he lost his temper and threw his bat on the floor and it
Stephen
broke.
Hendry?
I don't know. I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
But Andy Murray had the most wicked grin on his face, so I think he's got quite a sick sense of humour.
Marie, thank you very much indeed. Oh, yeah, Andy Murray, and the man threw his tennis racket down and I laughed. Andy Murray has got a wicked sense of humour, dear listener. You heard it here first on BBC WM 95.6.
Iain Lee.
On BBC WM
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
Gary? Got some great news
Good
for
morning.
you. Got some great news for you, Gary.
What's that?
13 Saturdays until Christmas.
Yeah, don't we know it? It's
Yeah.
all over the telly, all in the shops, everywhere.
Where have you seen... I've not seen Christmas on the telly or in the shops yet. Where have you seen it?
Well, there's a Food Network programme, and now it was advertising Christmas programmes in the middle of August.
Hang on a minute. What's a... Do you watch a Food Network channel?
Now and then, yeah.
But why? What, a channel all about food?
Well, cooking and whatnot, you know.
Why would you watch that? Why don't you watch ITV4 or something? They show Lethal Weapon.
Well, it's at times when the babbies... Because the babbies flick over and watch it as well.
Oh. How old are the babbies?
7.
Yeah, they like the food programmes. Oh, good for them. That's good.
Well, they like watching the American programmes when they just got massive amounts of food, and I can't believe it. They really can't believe the amount of food they eat.
Oh, hang on a minute. What do you mean? Do you mean like Man versus Food?
Yeah, and other things, you know.
Oh, so they're not watching cookery programmes. They're watching fat people shove a load of food in their face.
Well, it's
not quite so sweet.
But it's the Food Network programme.
It's not quite so cute. Anyway, Gary, you've not called in to celebrate the fact that Christmas is on its way, even though we're all excited. What have you called in for?
Well, it sounds to me like you're as much of a wind-up merchant on the road as you are on the radio.
Pardon? Explain.
Because that incident, you says, what happened on the motorway, you could just ignore it. What if you caused a massive pile-up? I know it's not you, it's them as well, but you're both as much to blame as each other.
Hang on a second.
Not to use your phone at all whilst driving, even if you're using the camera.
Gary, he was threatening to beat me up. I had to use it as a deterrent. I was trying to save my life.
No, ignorance is the best deterrent.
Not when there's two fellas who were very big gentlemen who wanted to kill me. I've now got Chris has sent me an email. Listen to this email from Chris. Iain, what kind of prat are you? Flashing idiot motorists. You normally come across as an intelligent bloke. Hang on a second. I do come across as an intelligent bloke, Producer Joe. Please. If someone has cut me up and is driving badly, I will flash them just to let them know.
Have you got any points on your licence?
Now, why do you feel the need to know that information?
Because you should have, the way you go on. You're using your phone, you're cutting people up, you're sticking your V's up, you're...
Hang on a minute. Now I've got a text here from Gary. You said you got your phone and filmed the guy on the motorway. That is illegal and dangerous. You're a naughty, bad man. OK, right. For goodness sakes. I am not in any way condoning the use of mobile phones whilst driving. So let's just state that. These men were going to kill me.
Yeah, but it's the way, the amount of times you've said it's happened to you, you must have a come and get me sign on your car or a big flashing thing on the top.
I'll give you a big flashing thing on your top in a minute. Go on.
No, but you seem like a bit of a magnet. Come and get me.
I think it's because... I tell you why it is, Gary. It's because I'm such a calm, zen... I'm a very spiritual man. And I think that angry people... What are you laughing for, Molly Green? I think that angry people are attracted to my spirituality. And so they kind of... It's like moths around a spiritual flame.
Well, I'll tell you what. I remember you saying in the past that you used to enjoy dressing up in women's clothes. Well,
sorry, what? Hang on a second. Where has that come from? What did you just say?
Why don't you dress up, get out the car, and that might scare them off?
I don't. Right, come on, right, Gary. Thank you. In the past, you've admitted you enjoyed dressing up in women's clothes. Have I said that? Gary, dearie me. 03453 009956 is... I do have to say, of course, with the BBC, I don't condone the use of mobile phones. It's illegal, of course. I was doing it to try and save my life, guys. Let's speak to a psychotherapist who specialises in anger management. Good morning to you, Penny.
Good morning, Iain.
Penny, why do people feel they can get so angry and aggressive in cars?
Well, I think mostly people aren't planning to get angry in their cars, but it's a very primitive response. So there will be a percentage of people who have borderline personality disorder, for example, which is a disorder which one of the characteristics of that is recklessness, for example, reckless driving, and probably people who have more points on their licence for other things, percentage-wise, are more likely to commit road rage, as if there's some sort of general abandonment and antisocial sort of behaviour. But really, it's often things that have been happening before the person gets into the car, not just in the car, so that somebody is trigger ready, if you like, with their anger. And it involves a very primitive part of the brain, as far as we know, which is the limbic or reptilian brain, a very ancient part of the brain that was there to sort of spot and look out, in a sense, for saber-toothed tigers. So there might not be a saber-toothed tiger in the high street, but instead you've got a situation where people are enclosed in metal boxes with other people who can't go very far, so people are maybe feel trapped in some cases, not necessarily on a motorway, of course. So people respond with this very primitive part of the brain, and once it takes over, it's a bit like being hijacked by this part of the brain. Within it, there's a structure called the amygdala. So you're sort of hijacked by your amygdala, producing lots of adrenaline that goes to all the muscles that are ready to say, run, fight,
or flash your lights.
Or flash your lights maybe, or
make a hand gesture.
Or be very frightened, have powerful anxiety. So,
But it could be something as simple as someone pulling out in front of you, or someone not pulling away at a roundabout in time can set people off.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it can. And interestingly, by the way, when it comes to women, one study recently, I believe it was conducted in the USA a couple of years ago, found that women are more likely now to commit road rage than men. But other studies have not found that, and have found that it tends to be more likely amongst men, particularly between, say, 25 and mid-30s. 47% are, say, over 55s, 68% are probably 25 to 35-year-olds. So there are some gender factors here which might be at work.
Because I've had a couple of women shouting at me, but it's primarily I've spotted it's men. I would say men sort of between 40 and 65 seem to do it. For me.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously we might all have individual different experiences of what we find ourselves, but when studies have been done with hundreds or in some cases a couple of thousand of people, then that's what the statistics indicate. Canadian studies, and people often thought to be on average a bit calmer in Canada, unless you happen to be the mayor of Toronto on crack. Then,
fair play, Penny. Good one. I like that. Good reference.
My sister lives in Canada, by the way. But
that's a great story. Yes, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, about a third of people say that they experience actually being in road rage, whereas this more recent study in the States suggests the statistic is much higher.
What can we do, Penny? If someone is in the next car and they're making all kinds of vulgar hand gestures and threatening to get out, what can we do to calm the situation down? Is blowing them a kiss a good idea?
I don't think I particularly recommend blowing a kiss, because you might aggravate the situation.
Right.
Basically, I think the most important thing to recognise is the person that is doing it is in their primitive brain. It's very difficult to realise, to get somebody in their primitive state to be rational at all. So you might as well give up trying to get them to be rational.
Fight them?
And focus on you being as calm as possible. If you've got an opportunity to pull over safely with your doors locked and keep out of their way, then great. Let them go past. I did actually experience road rage from somebody else once, and I know how frightening it was. And somebody was tailgating me and following me, and I pulled into somebody's drive, a complete strangers, and then they drove past.
Yeah.
So it's really taking control of your own amygdala, if you can, which is with deep diaphragmatic breathing. And by that I mean there's a sort of parachute structure underneath your lungs. If you had your hand on your just below your rib cage in the middle, and feel when you really, really fill your lungs, that part just sticks out a bit. so that you're taking these slow, deep breaths, and then you're saying to your own amygdala, your own adrenal glands, to calm down and produce less adrenaline so that you're calmer and more able to cope in the circumstances. But it's very difficult to persuade a very angry person, especially if you're in separate cars, and preferably want to keep some metal and glass safely between you and them, that this is what they should do to calm down. But chances are they're having a bad time with something else in their life. So instead of feeling angry towards them, you could maybe feel a sort of pity or a kind of respect and think, you know what, that person's probably having a hard time.
It's okay, they're threatening to kill me with a machete. Penny, listen, really nice to talk to you. Thank you. I like Penny. We'll get Penny back. She's good, isn't she? Penny Bald, psychotherapist who specialises in anger management and Canadian satire. 03453 009956. So it's a primitive thing. When someone's threatening you in a car, we should feel sorry for them. Yeah, we should feel sorry for them. Danny, do you feel sorry for them?
No, I don't. I've been threatened quite a few times. My worst experience, I was doing an early morning run for Solihull Council at 4:30 in the morning, and they kicked a man out of prison after being drunk driving.
Yeah.
My car had to be in the car park.
Yes.
It was a brand new one. He smashed every window because he couldn't pinch it, smashed all the glass, smashed the steering lock. A man who was walking his dog in the morning copped him and called the police.
Yes.
The police came involved, and the policeman who was interviewed me, he had the same thing happen to him, and he got away with it. He took him to court, the man did.
Yeah.
I got £200 off him. I had to pay that back to the insurance. I lost my insurance non-claim policies, and I had to pay all my own damage.
Oh,
A few months after that, I had the quarter light of my car smashed. They pinched the road tax. I had to pay a new road tax, new quarter light, and all I pinched him was £75, and he got away with it. And you call that justice. And as far as the road's concerned, I said about time they started doing a bit more road checking on the roads, because, to be honest, the driving in this country is diabolical. And I'm 84, and that's it. How's that one?
I'll tell you, you're 84 years old, Danny?
Yes.
Do you still drive?
I still drive, and I'm still coming to do it. When I can't do it, I pack up.
But how will you know that you can't do it? Because we are always the last to know that our faculties are weakening.
Well, if you like to come with me, I'll take you up Birmingham on a Friday afternoon, all the way out to Birmingham and back again without panicking. How's that?
All right, you're on.
Yes, you want to come to my house, you can with the greatest pleasure.
Danny, I will come. I'll tell you what, are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Right, I'm going to put you back to my producer, Joe, and I'm taking you up on that.
OK.
And I will be... but, Danny, are you prepared for me to be painfully honest about how bad your driving is?
I'll take your criticism. I'm always prepared to learn.
OK, because can I say something with love and respect to you?
Yes.
You sound very angry, Danny.
Well, I do get angry occasionally, to be honest, because I think what's happening in this country is getting worse. And I've driven in a lot of countries, but this country is getting worse.
But it's not. You're 84 years old.
Yep.
It's not good for you to get so angry. Did you just hear Penny, who we spoke to, the psychotherapist?
Yes.
Do you want to do some deep breathing with me, Danny?
No, I'm all right. I'm okay.
Put your hands.
Yeah.
Below your rib cage.
Yes.
Right. Breathe in. Deeper.
Yeah.
And let it out.
Yeah.
Go on. Let it out.
In.
Yeah. Breathe in. Really deep. Really deep.
In.
And then let one out.
Yep. In.
Yep. Keep going.
Out.
Shake it all about. Yep.
And out and shake it all about.
Do you feel you sound so much calmer, Danny?
Well, I can calm myself down. Yes.
Yeah. Tell you what, speak to my producer. We'll come round in a few weeks.
Okay.
Thank you, Danny. There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to go for a drive with Danny in his car, an 84-year-old man. You know my views, dear listener. I've said this many times. I think once you're over the age of 70, I'm not sure that driving is necessarily for you. BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Lisanne.
Well, if driving is for you, you'll find that routes around Birmingham are moving well. No major problems or delays in the city centre. Problems continue, though, for the M6 as you head out towards the Warwickshire area, where these barrier repairs are underway. 3A to 3 is where you'll find lane closures in place, but congestion starts from junction 4. Northbound, it's all fine. It's the southbound stretch. It could be the Birmingham City fan traffic heading towards the Norwich match. Once you get past there, it's pretty clear for you to the rest of your journey. Not doing too badly on our other motorways. The M5 looking OK for you. Northbound M6 running well as well. If you're making your way on the trains, it looks like services are all running well for us. If you can update us, it's BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
a new hero for mid-mornings.
Right, let's just catch up with Keith from West Brom. Keith, welcome to the show.
Hiya, Danny.
Yeah, good morning. Now then, let's recap. You called in, Keith, because you were banging your head against a brick wall. You wanted a job driving, and you had gone for interview after interview.
His mission, to change the lives of many in Birmingham and the Black Country.
Well, they had a job coming yesterday morning for the driver, and have a guess who got the job?
You.
Yeah, and I'll start Monday.
Good lad. Keith, congratulations.
Cheers, Danny. Thanks for all your help, mate.
No, you're more than welcome.
A new champion for the West Midlands, Danny Kelly. Weekdays from 9.
BBC WM
95.6.
That's what I'm talking about. 03453 009956. I don't know why I said that. Coming up. Probably after 10 o'clock we'll do it now. A few things. Let me just throw forward so you can be thinking about these, or you can call in with these. I should say the way this show works is I throw things out to talk about, and you call in about them, or you can call in about anything you want, really. I was talking to Daz about this. The kind of way I like to do these shows, yeah, we do Fridays 2 till 4 now. More on that later. The way I like to do these shows is kind of got a rough idea of some of the things we're going to cover. But I mean, you guys can call in about anything you want. It's like when you go down the pub or you go out for lunch with your friends. You don't say, right, OK, guys, I thought for the first hour we would be talking about Steve's marriage. Then in the second hour we could talk about Mark's new car. And then in the third hour we can just talk about any... It doesn't work like that on this. It's just like a conversation, isn't it? You just phone in and talk about what you want. You just phone in and talk about what you want, Malcolm, if you wanted.
Yes, I know I can.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, literally awful. One day the boss is going to get me sussed and I will be out of here. But until then, I'm milking the BBC dry. What have you got for us, Malcolm?
Listen, I was going to say,
yes,
all these problems you keep getting with your cars,
yes,
and all the problems, why don't you come on the bus or the train and we can have a... I mean, most of us can relate then to all the problems you have on that and all the arguing and so on. But, I mean, if you're going to go around dressing up as a woman, well, good blimey, I don't know.
No, hang on a second. I've got no idea where this has come from.
Well, he cracked me up when he said that, I tell you.
I know the cheek. There's a caller earlier on. He said apparently I like to dress up as a woman. Now, listen, I may have dressed up as a woman in the past. That's listen, Malcolm, I am a big fan of buses. I do like buses.
Yes, yeah, good.
A lot. But some... No... Nearly all... A lot... Quite a few bus drivers are bonkers, aren't they?
Well, yeah, some are, and some are... I mean, I've been in transport all my life when I came out of the army.
Yeah.
I've been mostly lorry driving, bus driving, all over Europe and everywhere. And I was always told that when everybody gets in their own car, little thing, they always say... They all think that the person in front of me can't drive, the person behind me can't drive, and they all think the same. And that's why we get all these road rages, because everybody thinks they're the best.
I have had... Maybe it's me, Malcolm.
Yeah.
I have had so many arguments with bus drivers.
Yeah.
And I seriously, producer Jo is whispering in my ear that she thinks it's me. I had one bus driver, right?
Yeah.
Who held me hostage.
Held you hostage?
Yeah. Held me hostage on a bus. Right. I got on the bus, right? And something was... I don't know what was...
Wait, did you pay the fare? I
paid the proper fare, young man. Oh, yes, not a fare dodger, right? Anyway, he then decided to throw everybody off of the bus. Right?
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm not getting off, mate. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not getting off. You're throwing everyone off because you're having a stop. I'm staying on.
Aye.
He said, right, you can stay on. So I'm the only person on the bus, and he drove off at high speed and wouldn't let me go.
Crikey.
And so I phoned up the bus company and said, I'd forgotten about this. Thank you, Malcolm.
Yeah.
I phoned up the bus company and said, your bus driver on this route is holding me hostage and will not let me go.
Where was this?
I'm not going to say because I don't want to.
No, which area?
This is when I lived in London.
Oh, London.
And in the end, right, the driver was laughing, and in the end, I had to. There's the buttons that you push that open the door themselves.
Yeah.
I had to push them as he slowed down to go round a roundabout and jump off the bus.
Oh, God.
Like Steve McQueen style.
I know. Yeah. Actually, I thought you was going to say the driver said, well, we're in the depot now. You can stop in here all night if you want.
Malcolm, not quite. Malcolm, one question.
Yes.
When was the last time you dressed up as a woman?
when I dressed up as a blimey, must have been when I was a teenager. When when you're in your 13, 14, when I was trying on my mother's clothes or something stupid, like like we all do, seeing what they feel like.
What did your mum's clothes feel like?
Hey. Well, you know what? Well, hey, we can't get going into all this now.
Malcolm, thank you very much indeed. I'm guessing from that he enjoyed it. Every bloke has dressed up as a woman. I guarantee it. Simon?
Morning.
When did you last dress up as a woman?
When I was about 17, 18.
Beautiful. Can I ask why?
Fancy dress party.
Beautiful. Every bloke has dressed up as a woman, and some people, do it for fancy dress. Some people do it for experimentation. Some do it because they enjoy it, and it's all fun. It's nice. It's kind of isn't wearing a skirt weird?
I had to walk down from the place where the fancy dress was down to the off licence to get some ciggies, and nobody would go for me, so I had to go down on my own. And I'm walking down the road like this taxi driver's come up the side of me, pipping his horn.
You got good.
I did, I just turned around, lifted my skirt, and said, "Do you want some of that, mate?" Oh God, I ain't seen a car move so quick.
You got nice legs and a cute bum, Simon. Is that what it is?
I must have done it that age. Yeah,
that age. It's all got a bit saggy now. Anyway, you've not 03453 009956. By the way, every gentleman is dressed up as a woman. That's a fact. What did you want to call in about, Simon?
I'm on about your road rage incidents on the motorway.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? I mean, people really got it in for me.
At the end of the day, why didn't you just leave it?
Oh.
Take a deep breath, don't flash them, don't antagonise them, don't wind them up. Oh. Chill out, let them get on with it.
Yeah, but then they've won.
But no, they haven't. It's not a competition, it's not a war, it's not a game. Do you know what I mean? Just chill out, let it. Otherwise, one of the days, somebody's really going to copy one, are they? They're not going to be able to do anything to you while you're driving down the motorway, are they?
But if...
What are they going to do? Drag you out your car at 70 mile an hour?
But if... I mean, they might hit my car.
Well, it's a bit of metal.
Yeah,
What's your auntie?
It's a bit of metal that cost me a few grand. It's
Yeah,
a Volkswagen Polo, 1.2.
Oh, wow. At the end of the day, you've wound them up. You know what I mean? Just if they didn't let you in, whoopee-doo. Take a deep breath. Call them something under your breath if you want, but just leave it, don't antagonise them. They'd have just carried on with their journey, then they wouldn't have bothered with you.
Simon, if I do that, if I let those gentlemen carry on with their journey, then they will not know that they've done something wrong. Isn't it my duty as a citizen of this fair country, this United Kingdom, God save the Queen, isn't it my duty to let them know they are not playing by the rules?
Ian, really, you're going to get yourself hurt one day if you carry on like this. See, I mean, at the end of the day, you're saying, oh, they're threatening you, you know what I mean? So what? Let them threaten you. What they're going to do? Nothing. And as regards your phone, don't use your phone on the motorway.
Oh, no, listen, I don't... Why am I getting told off?
You're admitting this live on air, you know.
I know, right.
I hope there's no coppers listening, because you're admitting this live on air that you've used a mobile phone while driving.
No, right, OK, let me
just... save your life or not.
Yeah, it was just trying to stop me get killed.
It wasn't. It wasn't going to kill you, good grief.
You don't know that. They look very, very violent.
So do I, but I'm not going to hurt nobody.
I don't know, Simon. I'm a little bit nervous of you.
Oh.
I think you sound like a right old dodgepot. Simon, thank you very much indeed. Right, can I just say again, because I'll get hauled over the coals for this, I don't condone the use of telephones in cars because it's illegal. I don't use them. My phone was switched off at the time. My phone is always switched off when I'm driving, right? That's a simple thing to do, guys. Quite often I leave it in the boot as well, so there's no temptation, right? I held up my phone as a defensive measure to imply I was filming to save my life. 03453 009956. All right?
Middleton,
Mile
Moseley,
Oldbury,
Pattingham.
Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
Turns out nobody else is amazed by the fact that Scotland's only got 4.5 million people in it. Am I the only... The one thing I've learnt from the Scottish referendum, do you remember that? This week, is that two things I've learnt. One is I don't care about Scottish independence, and I pray to God we do not have a European referendum. Do you know why? Because referendums are so boring, aren't they? That was the Scottish referendum. Imagine a European referendum. Oh, my goodness. Imagine 2 years of that. Flippin' heck. Anyway, Andy, do you understand what I'm saying?
Hello?
Hello, Andy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ian. I'm very sorry.
There's no need to... Well, it depends. What are you doing?
Pardon? What am I doing?
Yes.
I'm listening to you.
do you understand what I'm saying? Well, I know lots of people want a European referendum, and I was kind of for it for a while, but boy, I'm off referendums for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm sorry, Ian. I didn't ring you up about that. I must have missed that question because I was in the other room talking to the ladies.
Talking to the ladies?
To the young girl who comes on, I had to go and turn the radio off. So obviously, I've missed that question, sir. But I wanted to talk to you about this road rage.
Away you go then, sir.
Pardon?
Yes. Away you go, Andy. Flippin' heck. Have you got it turned on this morning?
I know. Oh, you do get people wind up, I know you do.
Yes.
But I think you're out your depth today. I think they've had you tongue-tied regarding this road rage.
Who's got me... Well, hang on. Why am I out of my depth and tongue-tied?
I think you are. I mean, you're going on about this road rage. Everybody has, as a typical argument, don't they? I mean, I've been a driver all my life, and, SUV, I was on the fuel for just over 30 years, and I've seen plenty of things. But what I wanted to ring up about is... I think you mentioned something about drivers aged 70 and over. They shouldn't be on the road, or words to that effect.
That's correct, yeah.
Well, I've had this argument out with Paul Franks and Danny regarding this.
OK.
Now, you tell me, why should they be off the road? Why shouldn't they be driving for 70 and over?
Because their reaction skills are way, way down, and because there are too many cars on the road.
Right, now, you tell me, then, why is my car insurance cheaper than a teen or maybe up to 25. You tell me why my car insurance is cheaper than what those are.
Well, because you are probably safer on the road than...
Exactly.
Right, OK,
right.
but no, Andy, just because you are safer than another group of people, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't stop driving. I don't think people should be allowed to drive until they're 20...
That's your opinion.
I don't think...
It's not up to you, is it?
No, well, not yet.
You're telling me a man who works 50 years, hard work, who retires when he's 65 or whatever, like I did, but unfortunately I had a medical dismissal, right, and you're telling me that I shouldn't be driving my car now? I'm 71. I've driven tankers, I've driven coaches, I've driven everything. I'm not being big-headed.
Not with that temper, Andy.
I've got accident-free.
Not with that temper.
Medals and certificates, and you're telling me I shouldn't be on the road. From what I can understand with you, Ian, you shouldn't be on the road with all your road rage.
Not with that.
Because that would have happened to me in my tanker. I'd have knocked you off the road. Yes, I would have done.
There we go. You've just explained why you shouldn't have a driving licence.
With people's lives,
Andy,
like that on the motorway.
Andy,
you're a disgrace, Ian.
Andy, you've just explained why you shouldn't have a driving licence. You just said if you'd been driving a tanker, you would have knocked me off the road.
Road rage, like you say, dilly-dallying, stopping and carrying on, I'd have gone into the back of you.
You'd have knocked me off the road, Andy. And that's acceptable driving, is it?
The door and give you a good hiding.
Andy,
I could have done.
Nice to talk to you, mate.
All right, mate.
Cheers, ta-ta. He's perfectly explained why he shouldn't be driving. I like that, though. We had an argument and we shook hands at the end of it. That's what it's all about. 03453 00 9956 is the phone number. We'll have more of your calls. Also this morning as well, should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? Of course they should.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's 10 o'clock. Let's get the latest news now. Here's Nicole Pullman.
A man from Wolverhampton and his girlfriend are missing at sea after a hurricane hit the coast of Mexico off La Paz. Paul Whitehouse, who'd been working as a scuba instructor in La Paz for a year, and Simone Wood, who's from London, were on board a 70-foot yacht which capsized when the hurricane hit. The British Embassy says consular staff are in contact with both of their families. 20,000 people have been evacuated in the Philippine capital, Manila, and nearby provinces, as tropical storm Fang Wong left most of the region underwater. The water was up to neck height in some areas, and a dam in another part of Manila was in danger of overflowing. 2 people are known to have died. Schools and government offices are shut, and flights to the capital have been affected. 49 hostages seized by Islamic State militants from the Turkish consulate in northern Iraq have been freed. They include children as well as diplomats and soldiers. Here, another appeal has been made for the release of Alan Henning, the taxi driver from Greater Manchester, kidnapped by Islamic State militants. 3 senior Muslim clerics say there's no justification whatsoever for holding him. Police have released CCTV footage of a vicious road rage attack involving 2 women in Birmingham. A 44-year-old woman was blocked by a driver who'd parked badly and gone into shops in Wellington Road in Handsworth Wood. When she asked the woman passenger in that vehicle how long the driver was going to be as she couldn't get past, she was given verbal abuse. She turned around and found another route, but as she was walking to the shops, the woman she'd spoken to jumped out of the VW Touran and attacked her, pulling her hair, knocking her unconscious. The Blues manager, Lee Clark, says they won't sit back and invite pressure from high-flying Norwich this afternoon. The whole match is live at 3 o'clock here on BBC WM 95.6, the station for commentary this season. Clark knows his players need to be on top of their game to counter the Canaries.
Yeah, they've got a very good squad and a very good team, and they've scored 7 goals in the last game and a half, so we have to do it right defensively, but we also can't sit in and just let them come at us all the time. We've got to give them problems as well as an attacking team.
The weather scattered showers this morning with the risk of thunder, drier and brighter this afternoon, with a top temperature of 20 Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, fine, dry and sunny with a top temperature of 18 Celsius, 64 Fahrenheit. And the outlook for the following few days: fine and often sunny on Monday but cold overnight, cloudy on Tuesday and Wednesday with sporadic rain. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Just had a very, very angry text from a gentleman called Andy. It's all in capital letters. That means he's shouting, and he is furious. It ends with, "You are a nauseating gentleman's part." A nauseating Richard, he called me. Gosh. Good point, though. Good point. Well made. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. What are we talking about this morning? Well, we're talking about road rage, your road rage stories. And if we can go a little bit further into it, what makes people kick off when they're in cars? And we've gone back onto the old conversation we've had from time to time about older drivers. Once you're over 70, really? 03453 009956, and there will be no mention of Scotland on this show today, apart from Andy Murray's mum on Strictly Come Dancing. Has Andy Murray ruined her chances?
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands,
call
call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
And also, a lot of people have been making... I'm Andy Murray, I won the tennis, my mum's doing the dancing, I'm very excited. Lots of people have been making accusations that I'm a transvestite. Nothing could be closer, further from the truth. But all men have dressed up in women's clothing. We've all done it. You've done it, haven't you, Terry?
Never.
Yes, you have.
Never.
You have never dressed up in women's clothing?
Why would I want to put a dress on?
Or a skirt?
Or a skirt.
Or some slacks?
Definitely not.
Culottes? Some suzzy?
No.
Put some suzzies on?
No, never.
Terry, you, sir, are a liar. I don't believe you. I do not believe you.
I'll tell you what then. What I said to your lady about, you
My
said
lady.
a few hurtful things about people who are getting on a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's nothing to do with age. When you're a poor driver or a fast or a lunatic driver, it's nothing to do with your age. It's something to do with that grey matter between your ears that counts. No matter how old you are.
But it can be to do with age as well, because and with the greatest of respect, Terry, as you get older, your faculties do generally, not everybody, there are exceptions, but do generally weaken. That's a fact. Eyesight goes, reflexes go, timing can go.
Reflexes, yeah. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm getting on a bit, and you said you was going to make some arrangements and go and have a ride with a guy in his car.
An 84-year-old is going to take me for a drive in his car. I'm regretting saying that already. We need to fill in the health and safety forms.
Yeah. Well, you ought to do the same thing with me. Come over here and I'll have the gloves on with you.
Sorry?
I train regular and I go out running every day and on the boxing glove. And I tell you what, you see how slow my reflexes are with the gloves on. I appreciate it. I don't know how old you are, how big you are. That doesn't matter. I ain't bothered about that.
No, I know you're not bothered, Terry, which makes me think that you've lost your faculties even more. And isn't that interesting?
No, he does it? I'd like you to come out the gloves on and say that to me before you put them on. I'll tell you, you'd lose a lot more than your faculties.
Isn't it interesting, Terry, that people often say that the younger generation are violent thugs? Their first reaction is to edge towards violence, and yet you sound like you're in your mid to late 80s.
Mid to late 80s?
Well, how old are you, Terry, sorry?
I've just turned 70, actually.
70, OK.
Yeah, so I should be put out to graze according to
you. The older generation, your first reaction is to turn to violence.
No,
that's a shame.
You just said something about losing my reflexes, and I've said too, yeah? Come over to my house, have the gloves on with me, and then after we get you round, you could say, oh, he ain't so slow as I said he was.
Well, no, but the thing is...
That's very hurtful when you say people. There's a good many people turn 70 who've got all the brains.
Terry, you're obviously one of the... Listen, I've not said that all old people are like that. It's just a fact that for the majority of people, it's a medical fact. As we get older, we are slower and our timings are a little bit older. I am not as fast in terms of reflex, in terms of speed of thought, in terms of physically running, as I was when I was 17.
Nor am I.
No, exactly. So you're agreeing with what I'm saying.
I can't run so fast and so long.
So you're agreeing with me then?
No, but what I'm saying is, with driving, it's if you've got a brain to start with, and there's some people, not only young people.
I will give you that.
I've seen elder drivers,
Yeah.
act silly and do stupid things on the road, but you can't generalise on it. We're all different. I mean, I still think I'm pretty. For my age, I think I'm pretty quick off the mark. And I certainly wouldn't get involved in road rage. If somebody road raged me, I should just say, I'm very sorry.
You wouldn't put your gloves on?
Definitely not.
Terry,
no.
say hello to Teresa.
Hello, Teresa. All right, Teresa.
Why do you need to be so aggressive?
Me? Aggressive? I'm not aggressive. He's just said that when you turn 70, you more or less need to be put out to graze, more or less. Some of the things he's been saying. And yes, that does make me aggressive. I do get it if somebody says, oh, way past it. No, I'm not way past it. I'm as good at sex. I'm as good at with the gloves on. I'm as good at running as anybody.
My partner's 67, and he's got all his faculties, ex-army gentleman.
Yep.
But as you get older, your reactions are slower, so he's quite correct. It doesn't mean you're losing your faculties.
Well, I mean, if he's saying you shouldn't be driving, his words were over 70, I mean, if you're over 70, you're a good driver, you should carry on. You can't, just because somebody's young, I mean, one of these days, maybe he'll be 70. And then he'll see how he feels like it. Yeah.
How about Terry? Right, this is the concession I will give you. Okay, once you turn 70, you have to take a medical and a driving licence every 2 years.
Well, put it like this. I'm over 17. I've never took a medical and a driving licence, a driving test.
I think you're starting to see my point a bit, Teresa, aren't you? No, I'm suggesting, Terry, that we introduce that as a rule.
Well, put it like this. I haven't had to take a driving test.
Put it like this. I'm saying I know that people don't have to do that now. This is what people over 70 have to do, Terry, to renew their licence. They get a form and it says, do you think you are still fit enough to drive, yes or no? You tick the yes box, and that's all you have to do. That can't be right, can it?
No.
So I suggest that every over 70 should have a physical and a driving test every 2 years, just to make sure they're up to scratch. Teresa, that sounds like a good idea, doesn't it?
It sounds a perfectly good idea.
It sounds a very good idea, but also, then I would like to say that everybody over the age of 20 every 2 or 3 years has to take a driving test as well.
I don't think.
Why only the over 70s?
Teresa, do you want to explain it to him?
Over 20s. You can't explain it to me. I know it.
We can't. Teresa, go and have a go. Go on.
But he keeps shouting. I'll try. Because I quite agree with you. There are some young drivers that are erratic and bad drivers. Right.
Yes.
But that's going to affect their insurance. But with regards to when you get over 70, just to make sure that you're fully aware, and you would be by the sound of it, just to make sure your faculties are all still there, and because otherwise you're a danger to someone else on the road. And I don't mean you, I mean in general.
I mean, how old are you?
How old am I? 56?
Rude to ask.
56.
56.
What's that got to do with it, Terry?
Well, what it's got to do is I just wondered how old she was because...
Well, do you want to ask her out on a date or something? She's got someone.
Sorry?
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
It strikes me the younger you are, the more you've got to say about people over 70. And I think some of the people over 70 should have a lot to say with what's going on. Why should it always be the young ones that say you should go and have a test? I think it's a good thing.
No. I'm 56, my partner's 67, and he's got his faculties. But what I'm trying to explain to you is there are certain people, like the gentleman presenter says, that could do with just making sure everything's okay.
Yes, I agree with that.
Beautiful. Then we agree.
But not over any age. That goes any age.
But your body...
You don't know how old you are.
But Terry, your body... The disintegration of the body and mind speeds up rapidly the older you get. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Correct.
So let's introduce the test at 70.
No, let's introduce the tax...
What tax?
The test, over 25. Let's everybody have it over 25.
Okay.
Because I think it's got brains, not age.
Terry, nice to talk to you, mate. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Teresa.
Not listening, was he, at all?
Well done. You did well. I'm interested.
give up.
Your partner, did you say your partner's 11 years older than you?
Yes.
How does that work?
What do you mean, how does it work?
I tell you why, because there's a story in the papers today, I can't remember which one, but there's an age gap of something like 35 years, which is obviously more significant than yours. And my wife is 5 years younger than me, right? And if I talk about music or TV programmes, there's quite a few of these things that she's never heard of because of the age gap. So I just wondered if in an 11-year age gap, if there were points of reference that you were missing.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And no, frankly... he likes the same kind of music, TV programmes, everything, it just works.
Yeah.
So,
has he ever dressed up as a woman?
I don't actually know, because I know what you were talking about earlier, and I thought to myself, I know lots of men that have dressed up as a woman.
Yeah. We've all done it, and there's no shame in it. There's no shame.
No, it's not like being a transvestite. No, I do know men that have fancy dress, whatever, they've dressed up as a woman.
Yeah. Teresa,
sometimes they look better than we do.
I've got a great pair of legs. Teresa, go and ask him and give us a call next week and let us know.
I will do.
Thank you very much.
He's coming over later, so I'll ask him.
Brilliant. Ta-ta. Thank you very much. 03453 009956. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the latest travel news now. Here's Lisanne.
Thank you very much, Iain. Well, if you're heading out on the roads at the moment, we still have some problems for you for the M6 in Warwickshire. It's starting to look heavy when you get to junction 4, the M42, because of lane closures from 3A to 3. That's the M6 toll to Coventry. Our stretch of the M6, though, is coping well this weekend, north and southbound around Spaghetti and up towards the north, all looking clear for you. If you're coming into the city centre itself, it's looking steady on all approaches from the Five Ways Island at one side of town across to the Expressway at the other side, so a pretty good and clear picture for us this weekend. If you're heading out onto the trains, they're running a good service. Midland Metro, though, we do have a suspension in place for engineering works, and that's between the Wolverhampton St George's and Priestfield stretch, but your tickets can be used on National Express West Midlands services as an alternative to get you around. If you spot any problems, call us on BBC WM 95.6 Travel 08453 882288.
Hunted.
Hey, do you know where I'm going to find the queen bee this morning? Oh, wow, there's a beehive.
Oh, beehive.
And what's this?
Phantom Raspberry Blow was the two Ronnies.
It was a two
Was it?
Ronnie.
Oh, I was thinking of the Phantom Flan Flinger.
Are you Bob?
I am your hunted.
Yeah!
That's almost taunting him on his defeat.
Oh,
It
stop
is, isn't it?
Hunted. 3 hours, 5 clues to find one person in the West Midlands.
This Sunday morning from 9. BBC WM.
95.6.
Can you give me a call, please? Please, if you are a fan of Strictly Come Dancing, a programme I don't get at all. I like the music. I don't like it when they have a singer singing somebody else's song. I don't like that. That's weird. It's like a Muzak version of it. Anyway, my wife watches it, but she doesn't watch the dancing. She just watches the judges' comments. That's all she watches. Just watches the judges' comments, which surely it's Strictly Come Dancing, not Strictly Come Judges' comments. It's weird, isn't it? Can you give me a call if you're a fan of it, please? 03453 009956. There is controversy brewing around it already. Tony, you're not a fan of Strictly, are you?
Not of any of the reality programmes.
Oh. Do you not like X Factor?
Definitely not.
Big Brother?
No, that I don't even give that time of day.
I'm a Celebrity?
No.
The Couch Potatoes?
Well, I never even heard of that one.
Gogglebox, that's it. Gogglebox, isn't it?
I've no idea. I don't know. Never heard of it.
By the way, guys, if anyone wants to do a TV show called Couch Potatoes, you can have that one on me. OK, so you're not... And, Tony, when was the last time you dressed up as a woman?
I don't think I've ever... No, from memory. Unless I've done it as a kid, I've never done it, as far as I know.
Come on, Tony. I don't want to call you a liar, but you have... Every man has done it.
If you saw my legs, you'd know why I didn't drive up as a woman. I'm so hairy.
Tony, what have you called in for?
You were talking about driving, and that there's an old chap on there, and you were trying to explain to me he needed to take a medical.
Yeah.
Or should do. Well, I agree, because as an HGV driver, from the age of 45, every 5 years, I have to take a full medical, including an eye test, before they'll allow me to pay for my next 5 years driving.
Sorry, what do you mean? What do you mean you have to pay for 5 years driving?
Well, every 5 years I have to renew my licence.
OK.
And that includes a full medical and eye test.
Yeah.
And then once I send that off and I send a cheque for my new licence, I can have it.
I see. And do you begrudge having to do that?
I begrudge the cost of it.
How much does it cost for 5 years?
£100.
Well, yes.
That's just for the medical.
Right. Oh, blimey. But you understand the reasoning behind it, don't you?
Yeah, but I still don't like paying it. I'd rather have it free.
Well, maybe. I mean, because I've always had this argument that older drivers, 70 and over, should have to do a medical and a driving test every 2 years, OK? Because your body disintegrates faster the older you get. That's a fact. That's a medical fact. No one can argue with that. But... Yep. Maybe there's something in, I don't know, from the age of 40, having to have a medical every 5 years. Not necessarily doing the driving test, but having a medical every 5 years.
Well, it wouldn't hurt, because it would catch a lot of people up that have got problems that they don't admit to.
And do you know what? You've just nailed it on the head there. Problems they don't admit to. Whenever we talk about this, and I've done this a few times, it's an old chestnut, people phone in and say, I will hand in my licence when I am not, when I know I'm not well enough to drive. But people don't, do they? People's vision goes a little bit and they squint so that they can compensate. Or maybe they've turned, they've gone past their turning a couple of times because they're not quite so fast on the reactions. But they don't tell people, do they?
I know some people who have, because I've always said the same thing. If either myself or someone told me that I wasn't fit to drive, then I would find out why, and if I wasn't, because it was congenital or something, I'd gladly give me licence up.
I don't know. I wonder how many people would actually do that. That's interesting. We had to... my mum, when she started getting ill, we had to kind of stop her driving because she didn't think there was a problem.
And my old man's exactly the same, and I've been saying to him he should stop driving for the last 40 years, and he still drives, and he can't see very well, his legs are shot, and what can you do? You can't. I mean, you can report them, and as long as they sign that little certificate saying they're fit to drive, there's nothing you can do about it unless the plods actually catch them doing something.
Do you worry about your dad in that situation?
I give up. No, actually I don't, because my father and I, well, both my parents and I, have nothing to do with each other anyway, so it doesn't bother me, but I just can't understand how they can allow people of that advanced age to continue driving without a medical. It baffles me.
Tony, thank you very much. 03453 009956. OK, so if you're 70 and over, you have to have a medical and a driving test every 2 years. OK. If you're 40 and over, you have to have a medical every 5 years. How's about them apples? That would work, wouldn't it? That would work, wouldn't it, Cyril?
Well, I don't know about that one, but can I just give you my experience?
Of course you can.
I've been driving for a long time. I'm 76 now. But what I did, because this is a bit of a problem. So what I did, on my own bat, I booked in and I took a driving lesson.
Oh.
And I said, can you give me I paid for this. I said, can you give me a driving lesson just to assess my driving? And we got into the driving school car. It took me all around a long way. A few questions on the highway code, reversing, eyesight test, and and he said, "I think you're quite a good driver, and you're quite capable to carry on driving." And I think a simple, would you put it, a small one, not exactly full test, but a review of your driving, and have a certificate to say that you are capable of driving. I think that's quite acceptable. Even if you have to pay for itself, you've got the peace of mind that you're in an instructor's eye, you are quite capable and safe. Because you have the eye test there. They take all, and it took me all around West Bromwich, Wednesbury.
And you passed with flying colours. He came out and said, Cyril, you carry on driving, fella, you're doing a good job.
That's it.
And
but I think we could do that in a general sense and to introduce and say, when you're 73 or 70, if you take this revised test, and they check you for your driving, your ability, your eyesight, your reactions, and then they give you this certificate, say, yes, I am capable of driving. I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
Then why are so many, Cyril? Why are so many older callers being annoyed by that suggestion? People are being really offended by it and accusing me of ageism. I'm not. I just want to make the road safer.
Well, I agree, because I was in that situation, and I was concerned myself that am I up to the mark? Everyone thinks they're a good driver, but I found the local driving school, told him what I wanted. I got in his car, went all the way around, took my eye test, a bit of reversing here, in the town along the expressway, and the eye test, and he's quite satisfied. It ticked off a sheet. It wouldn't say it was a full driving test, but it was enough to say, yes, you are a capable driver, and that was it.
Cyril, perfect. Well done. You see, Cyril did it himself off his own bat. 03453 009956. He's not offended by the suggestion. In fact, he did it. He volunteered to do it, to go and have a driving test and a little medical and make sure he was fit and well to drive. I don't understand. I'm not saying this to annoy people. I'm saying it because I want to make the roads safer.
Penn, Pensnet,
Rugeley, Redditch,
Rowley Regis. Have your say across the West Midlands. BBC WM 95.6.
This is it. As I was saying that phrase, producer Joe, I think off your own bat and off your own back. Which is it? I think it's off your own bat, isn't it? Off your own back. 03453 009956. I suspect that'll be in the next hour and a half of radio. Now, told you we weren't going to mention Scotland on this show. I've kind of lied a little bit. I know we're all a bit sick and indeed a bit tired of it, but Andy Murray came out right towards the end. He'd been quiet about the whole thing and he tweeted something along the lines of he supports independence. Got a load of abuse for it. Abuse on the internet? No, I don't believe so. There are people on Twitter who send abuse to other people? No. He got some really nasty abuse, actually. Some as if any abuse is not nasty by its definition. Anyway, there's now a story. Judy's Strictly hopes hit by Andy's yes vote plea. It's in the Express. Judy Murray's hopes of dance floor triumph on Strictly Come Dancing may have been scuppered by her tennis star son, Andy. Well, we can speak to someone who's worked with Andy Murray on his autobiography and also friends with Judy Murray. It's Sue Mott. Hello, Sue.
Hello there.
How are you? You all right?
I'm fine. I think it's off your own bat, as in tennis bat.
Thank you, Sue. An intellectual voice sticking up for me. I think it is, isn't it?
Yes, I think it is.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, thanks for joining us. No, how did you? I've always wanted to ask you. Just going on a slight tangent. You helped Andy with his autobiography.
I did.
How does that work? How does the person kind of tell you the stories and then you type it up, or do they write something and you tidy it? What's the process there?
No, can you imagine Andy sitting down and writing away like a little essay?
This is what I thought.
It didn't work like that.
No.
I met him at frequent intervals. He would tell me what happened and I would put it into words. He would then go through it and make sure it made sense, and away we went.
And is there never a frustration? I don't know if you're offended by the term ghostwriter or not, but is there ever any frustration for the ghostwriter? Because what people don't know is most celebrity autobiographies are written by somebody else, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And sometimes they're even written by somebody else when it's pretended it's the author's own work as well.
Was your name on the front, Andy Murray, with help from, or were you kind of hidden away inside?
No, I had an acknowledgement of thanks. And to be honest, you know what you're getting into when you do a thing like that. And as we're all hired hands, and it paid for my thatched roof, I was quite happy.
There you go. You see, wonderful. What did you think of Andy Murray's tweet towards the end of the Scottish referendum?
Well, I thought it was really interesting because, as usually, he really does tread very carefully because he knows this anti-English accusation is liable to fly out of, left field and attack him at any moment, even though a million of us have said, actually, it was just a joke. And it was just
This was the comment a few years ago where he said something about not watching England football matches or something,
what
wasn't it?
he said at the World Cup, and he was set up for this by Tim Henman, who was having a joke with him.
I remember that guy, yeah.
You remember that guy?
Just.
Lovely Tim, who could do no wrong. And Andy just, as part of a joke, off camera, really. I mean, it wasn't even meant to be broadcast. While he was being teased by Tim about the fact Scotland weren't at this World Cup, he said, well, I'll be supporting anyone who isn't England, which, as anybody could see, was an off-the-cuff, actually off-the-bat remark.
Thank you.
And it made it made headlines everywhere, and it absolutely institutionalised poor Andy as hating the English. And so it wasn't true.
And so we, as English, a lot of us, decided to hate him until he won Wimbledon for us, and then he was British again, and not that miserable Scot that he'd been branded in the newspaper. So it was a surprise for him to come out again. I mean, some of the abuse he got on Twitter was shockingly awful. I mean, so I think didn't want someone suggest it would have been he should have been killed in Lockerbie or something like that. I think was
Dunblane.
Dunblane. Thank you. Yes,
of course he was there.
That was it. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful thing to say.
Yeah.
But
and in no way merited. And, these idiots and lowlifes just almost don't deserve the power of our repetition of what they've said. But Andy will have been aware, I presume, that he would open himself up to all this anti-English accusation again, but thought in the heat of the moment, or perhaps in the depths of his passion, that he could make a contribution to the whole Scottish independence. He probably just couldn't resist it. And as a young man with opinions of his own, he's perfectly entitled to exercise them.
I think all celebrities, particularly footballers, but all celebrities should have someone that screens their tweets before they go out. Because you just sat there, you're watching the telly and you tweet something quickly without thinking, and the furore that can be sparked by it is... Has he scuppered his mum's chances in Strictly?
Well, this is the interesting thing, isn't it? Because are these people aware of their, potential to vote Judy off Strictly Come Dancing, that Judy is half English? Oh. Her mother is English. She was born south of the border, old Shirley Erskine. And, this whole attitude of them being rabid Scots and demented supporters of their homeland could not be further from the truth. I suspect there will be some people who reach for the off button when Jude is there simply because that's human nature. But I really hope that we give her a bit of credit for the fact she's messing up her kitchen floor at the moment, trying out the dance steps over and over again, and is really trying.
I'm trying to work out what the British public opinion is of Judy Murray, because I don't have a particularly strong one. I would imagine there are some people who think of her as a pushy mum.
Yes, she knows that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have seen her courtside over the years, looking grim, horrified, just trying to hold it highly competitive, which she is, and so is her son. But actually, if you remember, the BBC did a film not so long ago about Judy and Andy, and it really did change people's perceptions because the woman is tireless on behalf of especially youngsters, trying to get them into sport. She's all over the world coaching. She's brought out her own coaching whole idea of getting young children, young girls into tennis, which is fantastic when we have so many girls turned off sport. And to be honest, she's a really lovely, funny, generous woman who likes a glass of wine. I don't think there's a thing wrong with her.
And finally, I don't get Strictly Come Dancing at all. What am I missing? Do you get it?
Oh, come on.
Oh, here we
it's
go.
all good, clean fun, isn't it? It is. I think it's fine. I think it is absolutely fine.
Do you enjoy it? Is this your kind of Saturday night viewing then, watching this?
Well, what I really enjoy is when they have someone incredibly bad on who has to be hauled about like a sack of coals.
Yeah.
And I think I might be a little bit disappointed this year in that everyone looks reasonably fit and capable of holding it together. And to me, there needs to be a few more duffers in there.
Hang on, you've got Greg Wallace. He's not going to be able to dance, is he?
Well, let's hope not. Well, I don't want to see him get any better. I just want to see him perform truly dreadfully every week.
All this talk of, you've been on a real journey. I know I don't want journeys. I want to see people falling over.
No, I banned the word journey from everything I write.
Good.
I agree with you.
Sue, it's so nice to talk to you. Thanks very much for your time. There we go.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye. Ta-ta. That's Sue Mott, who worked with Andy Murray in his autobiography. You know, celebrity autobiographies, they don't write them themselves. It's people like Sue that does it. Sue does the hard work. 03453 009956. We can talk about Strictly Come Dancing. If you can explain it to me, please do. Don't get it. And is it going to work without Brucey? Bruce Forsyth, I think it will probably be a bit better. It was time for him to stay. We're talking about older people possibly being tested again for their driving licences. I think older people should be tested for their television presenting licences, shouldn't they? Brucey was too old. 03453 009956. And Andy Murray, your thoughts on Andy Murray? When he plays Wimbledon, is he British when he plays Wimbledon next time? Or is he Scottish? Sarah's in Smethwick. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. You okay?
I'm all right, thank you very much indeed. Although I'm hoping the coffee machine at the shop next door to BBC WM is working, because boy oh boy, I'm desperate for a latte. Don't I sound all poncy and me? I'm desperate for a latte. Sarah, what have you got for us?
I'm epileptic and I can't drive at the moment.
Oh.
And I have to be tested.
How does? Have you got your radio on in the background, Sarah?
No, I haven't. It's my TV. Should I turn it off?
What are you watching on the telly?
Oh, it's Animal Cops. Sorry.
Sorry, Animal Cops?
Yeah.
What happens in that?
Oh, it's all animals that have been mistreated, but it's in America. So
Oh, I see. Okay. Good.
I'm trying to turn my box off now and it won't turn off.
I thought it was badgers dressed up as sergeants and things solving crimes. It's actual. Why? With the greatest of respect, what are you watching the telly for? I'm on the radio.
Oh, yeah, I've been ironing, so I listen to the radio while I'm ironing.
Oh. Now listen, when you do the ironing, Sarah,
Yeah.
do you do it all in one go, or do you just iron what you need for the next couple of days?
It's school uniform.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I've just ironed 8 shirts.
Oh, dear.
Actually, I think it was 10 shirts. I'll have to count.
Now, so this epileptic situation, how does that work?
Well, I had a fit I had a seizure 2.5 years ago, and my licence, I can't drive, obviously. So my licence goes, so I'm not allowed to drive, so that the DVLA have my licence back.
Oh. And will there be a period? Do you think that you'll get your license? You'll be able to drive again? They'll give you your license.
My consultant has said that I can have my driving licence back, but I have to have a medical test, and he has to write letters to the DVLA saying that I can drive, that I'm fit to drive again. But I don't feel in myself that I'm ready to drive yet.
There we go, you see. Now, that's interesting, because this self-policing thing does worry me slightly when people say, oh, listen, I'll know when I'm not good enough to drive and I will hand my licence in. You're kind of living testament to that.
Yeah. See, I've always said to my consultants, has always said to me, oh, you're not driving, are you? So there's not really any policing there at all.
You said are you? I don't know what the correct term is, so I'm going to make one up. I don't mean it to sound brash. Are you an active epileptic? By that I mean, do you actually have seizures?
Yes.
You mentioned you've got kids. How old are your kids?
16, 14 and 13.
Oh, okay. So do they know what to do?
Yes.
And from what age did they kind of know that Mum was a little bit different?
My daughter, I had a seizure on a bus once, and my daughter was, I think she was 5. My eldest daughter was 5, and she stood in the middle. I was told by the bus driver, who was nice. He pulled over and everything, and she wouldn't let anybody touch me. She was absolutely fantastic.
Get in there.
Yeah, she was absolutely fantastic. So they've always been told what to do, like just leave Mum, make sure she's not hurting herself or anything like that, and just phone the police, phone the ambulance.
Must have been scary for them. I mean, even now, but particularly when they were younger. Or were they just kind of used to it?
I think they got used to it, to be honest. I think they do find it a little bit scary, but they're just kind of used to it. So, yeah, they're kind of used to it. I've never really asked them, but they've always known how to phone 999 and...
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, if this is a personal question, tell me to jog on.
No,
but I've often wondered this. I've never... what does it feel like to have an epileptic attack?
I don't know. I get a warning. I get like a smell. I get a smell.
What do you smell?
Like burning. Like a sweet burning smell.
Gosh. And how long... Do you always get an attack off the back of the smell, or does it sometimes go? And how long have you got between that smell and
if I'm not
out?
controlled, I get about a minute at the most. So sometimes I sit on the floor.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you go out and you smell burning, I say to my mum especially, can you smell burning? And loads of times she goes, yes, looks around. So
there's a bonfire.
It's a bit quite funny.
And then you kind of you pass out. And how do you feel afterwards?
Tired.
Wow.
Tired.
Headache?
Yeah, it's just that I can't explain it.
Yeah.
The doctors asked me to explain loads of times. You're just totally wiped out. You know, if you've been if you've run a marathon, you'd be absolutely wiped out.
Yeah.
Like that.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, you just want to sleep.
Sarah, I hope you don't mind me asking those questions.
That's fine.
It's just it's something that I know nothing about, and I've always been slightly fascinated. I really appreciate your time this morning.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Ta-ta. There we go. Shall I read this text? This is a good text. That was interesting, wasn't it? I didn't know, because I get migraines, and I wondered if there might be some similarity. It turns out there probably isn't. With the migraines, I get the aura. I get the lights, and my vision goes a bit funny, and then it goes a bit dark, and then I see stars, and then boy, oh boy, I'm in trouble. This is a text that is spelt awfully, but I shall still read it to the best of my ability. Iain, you sound... This is from Andy. I wonder if it's Andy Murray. Oh, gosh, it could be. Oh, you sound like one of... No. You sound like one of these self-righteous idiots that ride around with cameras on their cycle helmets, deliberately antagonising... Interestingly, he spelt antagonising correctly. Other drivers and getting into arguments with police officers and spouting off about the law, then putting it up on YouTube. You are a confrontational idiot, and one day you will get a good hiding. You think you are something special because you are on the radio. You're not. You're a nauseating Richard. Thank you, Andy. 81333. Start your text. WM. Or you could give me a call, Andy. Andy, come on air and let's have a chat about it, for goodness sakes. 03453 009956. Paul?
Hi.
When was the last time you dressed up as a woman?
Me?
You, Paul?
Never. It's why. Why do you say that?
I don't believe you. I think all men have dressed up as a woman.
No, why? I don't know. It's a strange question.
Yeah, okay. I believe that every man has... Hang on a minute, Paul. Stay there, because I spoke to Teresa earlier on. Morning, Teresa.
Good morning.
Now, Paul is claiming he's never dressed as a woman. I asked you to ask your older boyfriend, let's be honest, your older lover...
Yes.
Whether he had dressed up as a woman. You've called back with the answer.
Apparently he has not.
I don't believe him.
I also spoke to my daughter's boyfriend and he said yes twice while I was in the Scouts.
When he was in the Scouts?
Yeah.
That's a bit weird. But your fella said no, though, has he?
He says no.
I suggest... What, are you going out with him tonight?
Yeah, she's coming over this afternoon.
Is there going to be alcohol involved?
You always try and dress him up as a woman.
No. I'm just saying, if maybe he's holding back. If his tongue is loosened a little bit by the grape, then he might be a little bit more honest.
Well, he says not.
I don't buy this, Teresa. I think he's lying to you.
Well, I tried to do a little with my friends.
Yeah.
I know another friend who is definitely dressed up as a woman.
Sexy. Teresa, listen, thank you very much for calling back. You see, Paul, Teresa's boyfriend hasn't, but I don't believe that.
I think a few people must have had a good pint last night, is all I can say.
Yeah, I suspect so, Paul. Now, what have you called in about, sir?
It's about, just before I say, that guy with the text was a right cheery little soul, wasn't he?
He was what a pleasant person he was.
I'm going to say, I know you can't comment, and I don't say it's not my opinion, but some people might see that as some veiled kind of threat. But,
you are going to get a good hiding. Yes, that could be interpreted as...
I wonder if... Majesty's Boys in Blue might be interested.
Well, I've had some old boy phone up today, who wants me. He's in his 70s. He wants me to go around and have a boxing match with him. Come on, guys, everyone. Let's all just love each. We were born to love one another. This is something we all need. Come on, guys.
It's the reason I'm ringing in. Do you know, like you say about people being 40 and drive? Well, I mean, 40 is no age. I mean, I'm 53. To a 16-year-old kid at school, 40 is probably like, like the age of the dinosaurs. But, it's not the older people that are a problem on the roads. I'm not saying all old people are perfect, but it's these young drivers.
Yeah.
And their insurance is more than the car. Seatbelts are an optional extras, indicating the highway code. They undercut you, overcut you, ignore no entries. And I think statistics will probably prove this out with what they pay for insurance. They're the most dangerous people on the road. They get behind something which is basically a killing machine, and away they go, really.
I don't think you should be allowed to drive until you're 21.
I don't know, saying that, I don't know, I mean, it's a valid point, but I know some people mature at 18, other people don't mature to the
people say you can't make generalisations. Do you know what, actually, when it comes to road safety, I think you do have to make generalisations, and you shouldn't be allowed to drive, have driving lessons, but you shouldn't be allowed to have a driving licence until you're 21.
I used to have a little Lambretta scooter many years ago when I was a teenager, and now I didn't kill myself on that. It's like you say, you're going to live forever, nothing scary.
You're immortal. When you're 17, 18, 19, you are never going to die.
Yeah.
But even if younger drivers are statistically the worst drivers, okay, let's assume that's to be true, it doesn't mean that we can't also look at other groups that aren't particularly safe, and it's a fact that once you get older, as the older you get, the quicker your body degenerates.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, I mean, 40 is a bit young. I mean, 40 is no age now, but it's, I don't know, I agree. I mean, there's nothing worse. We've all done it. You're going down a road that's a good straight road, legally to do 60 or whatever, and you get some guy there, and he's crawling along at 25, peering over the windscreen.
Yeah. That's not... Paul, listen, thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot. Oh, Paul, before you go, are you a fan of Strictly Come Dancing?
I am, yes and no. This season... I don't exactly see too many superstars in there. Half of them, I don't even know where they are. Other years, at least we had a clue.
It's not a great lineup, is it?
No, I mean, there's a few desperate people on there, and I shouldn't say that, but...
Who have we got? We've got... OK, let me go through these, see if you know these names. Pixie Lott.
I've heard the name, but I wouldn't have a clue what she does.
Tom Evans.
I haven't a clue.
He's described as a rugby hunk. Frankie from the Saturdays. I like Frankie. Frankie's
Yeah,
good.
we
like
okay.
Frankie.
Nice eye candy, I shouldn't say that, but there you go.
Well, you said it. Thank you very much indeed. Simon Webb, Caroline Flack, Mark Wright, Steve Backshall and Sinetra Sarkar. I mean, really, it's not an A-list, is it?
No, I mean, it's Mark Wright. Is he the guy off Match of the Day? Tells us how we should all play football, but doesn't do it himself. Is that
No, that's Iain Wright.
Oh. But, no, but it is, I mean, no disrespect, but it's hardly, I don't think the X Factor are going to be quaking in the boots with that kind of lineup.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. I have to interrupt this broadcast because I've just been bought a massive latte. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Lisanne.
Hello, if you're heading out at the moment, you'll find there's some problems on the M42. A lane is closed for a lorry having a tyre change. It's junction 8, the M6 link, so just watch out for disruption through there. M6 through the Warwickshire stretch, we still have the lane closures, 383, causing congestion still around the barrier repairs taking place. But if you're heading into the city centre, it's good news. Traffic seems to be coping nicely in Birmingham. No delays or problems coming in towards the city. If you're heading out to the other stretches of the motorways, northbound M6 continues to run well, and the M5 reporting no major problems. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
We want to get your opinions on some of the big topics of the day.
By default, you should be earning more money if you're a skilled worker, shouldn't you?
The wage that I get now is the standard wage for what I do.
11 years Sonny and I have been together, and I feel rather emotional saying it, but actually I haven't spoken to my mum in 11 years. We're delighted to say that we can welcome some of the cast into the studio. Really good.
Why are you guys so shy? We say hello to you now.
Hello.
I know, really boring in real life.
Afternoons with Sonny and Shay, a brand new afternoon show, weekdays from 2.
BBC WM 95.6.
03453 009956 is the telephone number. Now, something I should have said about half an hour ago. Pointless. It's actually pointless, me saying what I'm going to say now. But I'll say it. We've split out radio signal, guys. Gosh, what does that mean? Well, let me tell you. If you're listening on FM 95.6, home of the hits. Today's better music mix. If you're listening to 95.6 FM, you can hear me. Okay? If you're listening on DAB, you can't hear me. You'll be listening to cricket. The cricket... Oh, now we've just lost a load of other people who've got... Oh, cricket's on DAB. Quick! Fire up the DAB. The Cricket Cup Final, Warwickshire versus Durham at Lords, is on DAB. You can go and listen to that, or you can listen to us. Kath, what do you prefer, cricket or us?
You.
Thank you. That's the correct answer. You can stay on the line. What would you like to say?
Oh, I've just had to ring because I can't stop laughing. I listen to you every Saturday morning, and you make me laugh. I mean, I can't do anything.
It's a very serious show today, Kath. There's no humour involved here. We're trying to be straight.
You are a right old...
What?
Well, you're a wind-up.
What's got you going today, then?
Well, just listening to the silly people that come on.
Aren't they?
They've got no sense of humour.
Yeah.
I've got the same temperament as you. And I meet people who you speak to and just ignore everything that you hear because you're great.
Well, you're very, very kind. You're very sweet.
I absolutely love the programme.
Well, I love you. Can we all come round your house for a party?
Well, I'm in a flat, actually.
We can still come round.
I can't stop laughing, I'm sorry.
Let's come round. I'll bring me, producer Joe. She can sit in the spare room.
Okay.
We'll bring cake. We'll watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and we'll have fun. Sound good?
Yes, that's great.
Catherine, ta-ta. Thank you for calling.
And you.
Bye-bye. There we go. What a delightful lady. That's nice, isn't it? How nice just to hear someone phone up and having a laugh. 03453 009956. Oh, after 11, we're going to play an interview that I did yesterday. Okay. You know, I feel like we're treading old ground with the driving tests and now tattoos, but there is a point to this. I spoke to a lady yesterday. Incredible story, actually. Really sad story. But she, her partner is a tattoo artist, and she has had a tattoo of her son, who passed away, done. But what makes this special, right, is that mixed in with the ink, she had her son's ashes. So she's had, I believe that she calls it a cremation tattoo. She has had, get this, Richard, right? She has had a tattoo done and in the ink are some of her son's ashes.
How does that work?
Well, I'm not quite sure. They tried to explain it. I couldn't quite get my head around. Apparently, it's perfectly safe. It's perfectly legal. It's a thing now, these cremation tattoos, where you get the ashes of a loved one, or get this, the ashes of a pet tattooed into your body.
Whatever works your boat, I suppose.
Yeah, I know. Because when we were going to speak to her, I thought, this woman's nuts. When you hear her, actually, it's a really moving story. It's her son who died about just over 2 years old. It's a really powerful story. But I'm kind of keen, people can start thinking about this now. I'm keen to get people's thoughts on this. Would you ever have a cremation tattoo, someone's ashes or something's ashes tattooed into your body? And also Others, how do we do this tastefully? We can't, so I'm just going to come out with it. Stories about what's happened to the ashes of people that you've loved. For example, my dad buried my nan and my granddad's ashes illegally on the gravesite of other members of the family. They went there and they buried some ashes legally, and they waited for the council to go, and then he pulled out of his jacket pocket the ashes of his mum and the ashes of his dad, dug up the turf again and slipped them in a hole and then buried them.
I think if certain people make comfort out of doing things differently, don't they? So who are we to knock and mix that so don't find no comfort?
Some people, there's a phenomenon now, and we'll get to what you called in about in a second. There's a phenomenon now for people to have ashes put in fireworks and have the fireworks shot up into space, into the, well, you know what fireworks do, and then the ashes are scattered like that. That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
that's a bit weird.
Yeah, it is. I think, I don't know.
Made into jewellery. Some people kind of get sort of fake diamonds. Anyway, 03453 009956. What have you had done? What would you like to have done to your ashes? Anyway, Richard, what would you like to say, sir?
I've literally switched on, I don't know, half hour ago or so, maybe, listening to your conversation about driving tests. And,
oh, yeah.
Right, I don't know if you've had anybody phone in, but I'm a HGV driver, so is my dad. And I've just checked my licence, and in 2018, bear in mind I'm 31, in 2018 I've got to have a medical.
So this is every 4 years?
No, because I've been doing it about 18 months, so it's every 5 years.
Every 5? OK, right, thank you. Right. That's and do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, yeah. What I can't understand is, and me and my dad have talked about it quite often, if we have to have a medical, why can't it be done for car drivers? And we have to do something called a CPC
What's
as well,
that?
which is Certificate of Professionalism Competence. And over 5 years, we have to do 35 hours classroom work to keep your job. It's meant to make you a better driver, apparently. So
people, if you start saying, I've always said that older people should have a medical and a driving test. I'm starting to come around to thinking that actually younger people could do that. Why do people, if you say, oh, you need to be retested or you should have a medical, people get very upset and very defensive about that when surely all it's doing is making the road safer, which can only be a good thing.
I don't know so much about a retest because if you was to put me into a car and ask me to take my driving test, I think I've picked up so many bad habits since I've passed, I don't think I'd actually pass.
Yeah.
Because I believe they teach you how to pass a test. You don't know how to drive when you pass your test.
Yeah.
But I do think there should be some kind of assessment for you driving to see if you're safe.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Why do people get upset or even angry when that's suggested?
I can only presume because that's the only bit of freedom that you got your licence, you've got your car, that's the only thing that you've got control of nowadays.
It's not a right. It's not a right to drive. It's a luxury. Driving is a luxury. Yeah. And people that think it's a right really annoy me because, hey, listen, I need my car for work. I need my car for my kids. Of course I do. But if for some reason I wasn't able to drive, then that's tough. I'd have to find another way around. I'd have to move, or I'd have to use the bus, or I'd have to earn enough that I could use taxis. I'd have to find a way around it.
Yeah, but I do think if they do it for any professional driver, I mean, bus drivers are the same. Yep. They have to have medicals. If they do it for professional drivers, and it's monitored easily, then there's got to be a way they can do it for car drivers as well.
When was the last time you dressed as a woman, Richard?
Yeah, I've just been thinking about that when I heard you say. I'm sure I've done it when I was in the Scouts once when I'd done a gang show.
Yeah. Again, the Scouts. Richard, thank you very much indeed. Sue, are you in Cornwall?
I am, yes.
What on earth are you doing? Why aren't you listening to the excellent BBC Radio Cornwall?
Because I prefer to listen to you and your colleagues.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
I know I am.
They're rubbish
I know.
down there. No, I didn't say that. No, they're excellent. They do an excellent job. Sue, what have you got for us?
Well, regarding the 70-year-old driving test, I lived in Portugal for many, many years, and it was compulsory there that once you reached the age of 70, you had to have a medical. It was a little bit of a farce, I have to say, and you did have to pay for it. The only bit that I thought was probably the best bit of the lot was the eye test. The other was silly. It was just, did you lift your arms up and all this business.
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone that wasn't granted their licence, including my mum, which her driving did leave a lot to be desired. So I think maybe an eye test, but as far as actually taking a proper driving test, no, I don't agree with that, because if you think about it, the majority of accidents are caused by younger people.
I'll give you that. OK, so an eye test, but how about a reflex test? The reaction test, because our reactions slow down, don't they?
Well, yes, they do, but no, the reason I don't agree with this, and you've asked why people get upset about it, is because these things are dreamt up by young people, and their attitude towards older people in the main is very bad. They seem to categorise anybody over about the age of 50, 55 as over the hill. And I've noticed the difference, the way people speak and react to me at times, and it's always by people who are about 20, 30 years younger than
I don't think I certainly don't think old people are to be ignored, and I don't think that they're over the hill. I do think though that practically that as we get older, it's happening to me. I'm 41. It's happening to me. I'm slowing down. My body is getting weaker. My reflexes are slowing down. So by the time you get to 70, there is a very strong chance that you won't be as quick to hit the brake or be able to see quite as well or think quite as quickly. And I don't mean that to be derogatory. I know you've sent me an email saying stop waging war on old people. I genuinely don't think I am. That's not my intention. I'm just trying to be realistic that as we get older, we do slow down. That's a fact.
Yes, you do.
And there will be exceptions to that, of course, but that's the general rule.
Yes, you do. But you see, your lifestyle is different. I mean, when you're younger, you do live a faster pace of life in the main. You're up and down the motorways and you're working, you're driving here, there, everywhere. You don't tend to do that when you're older. And I think testing old people is not the right way to go. I mean, when you get older, you tend to see your doctor a lot more. Maybe, if the doctor thinks that you're not your reflexes, or the doctor can tell whether your mind isn't working correctly. Yeah. Maybe something there could be done because I mean, you're quite right. There are some older people that their mind doesn't work as quick, but
they shouldn't be driving.
Many older people who've got a far sharper mind.
Of course there are. Which is why I'm not suggesting at all a blanket. My thinking has changed. In the past, I've suggested a blanket ban of everyone over 70 from driving. I am not suggesting that now. I'm simply suggesting that maybe we need to look at them and just check to see who's well enough to drive. So thank you very much. 03453 009956, an email. Iain, I know you are deliberately contentious for entertainment reasons, but you need to take a good look at yourself regarding road rage. In the cases regarding yourself that you've recounted today, you've been active in engaging these buffoons every time. Flashing lights, blowing kisses, winding your window down to blast Radio 4, and most stupidly of all, pretending to use your phone. You are just as bad as the other morons. Let it all go, man. If the anger management lady is still there, you need to book an appointment with her. Try stepping outside of your ego bubble and learn to meditate and just accept the vagaries of life. David, do you know what? I'll buy some of that. I'm going to... right. I'm going to do it. Where's my mantra? I'm going to do a little bit of TM now while we listen to Nicole.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's 11 o'clock. More of your calls coming up after the latest news with Nicole Pullman.
49 hostages seized by Islamic State militants from the Turkish consulate in northern Iraq have been freed. They include children as well as diplomats and soldiers. Here, another appeal has been made for the release of Alan Henning, the taxi driver from Greater Manchester, kidnapped by Islamic State. 3 senior Muslim clerics say there's no justification for holding him. A man from Wolverhampton and his girlfriend are missing at sea after a hurricane hit the coast of Mexico off La Paz. Paul Whitehouse, who's been working as a scuba instructor in La Paz for a year, and Simone Wood, who's from London, were on board a 70-foot yacht which capsized when the hurricane struck. The British Embassy says consular staff are in contact with their families. And 20,000 people have been evacuated in the Philippine capital, Manila, with nearby provinces as Tropical Storm Feng Wong left most of the region underwater. The water was up to neck height in some areas, and a dam in another part of Manila is in danger of overflowing. 2 people are known to have died. Schools and government offices are closed, and flights to the capital have been affected. Police have released CCTV footage of a vicious road rage attack involving 2 women in Birmingham. A 44-year-old woman was blocked by a driver who'd parked badly and gone into shops in Wellington Road in Handsworth Wood. A woman passenger in that car got abusive when asked how long the driver was going to be as he was blocking the road. The first woman found another route round, but after she'd parked and was walking to the shops, the passenger she'd spoken to jumped out of the VW Touran and attacked her, knocking her unconscious. Cricket, and Warwickshire are playing Durham at Lords in the final of the Royal London Cup. You can hear full commentary now on our DAB service in the Birmingham area and via our website. Mike Taylor has this update.
Yeah, difficult conditions here for Warwickshire, having been put into bat by Durham. They're 23 for 1 in the 10th over, the traditional curse of these September finals, the conditions favouring the bowlers very much in the early overs, and so it's proved. William Porterfield made 9 before edging Chris Rushworth low to the wicketkeeper. Varun Chopra and Jonathan Trott creeping along in the murky light, but Warwickshire struggling at 24 for 1 in 10 overs.
And the weather, scattered showers this morning with the risk of thunder. Drier and brighter this afternoon. Top temperature 20 Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, fine, dry and sunny with a high of 18 Celsius, 64 Fahrenheit. The outlook for the following few days, a mixture of sunshine and light showers. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Got a text here. Now, I don't read out congratulatory texts. I never know how to deal with compliments. Can I read this one to you, though? Hi, Dan. Always listen to WM every weekdays, and it's the first time I listen to you on a Saturday. Must say your show is the most enjoyable show I've heard. Mark from Cradley Heath, keep up the good work. Just a reminder of how that text starts. Hi, Dan. Thank you, Mark. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. We're talking, we've started talking about road rage, a horrible story that Nicole was mentioning there in the news. Horrible attack on a woman. Just by another woman, just vile. So we've been getting your road rage stories. More of those, please. If you've done it, you've got out of your car and threatened someone, or you've shunted someone, or you've tailgated someone, could you give us a call, please? 03453 009956. When was the last time you dressed up as a woman? That's aimed directly at the men. Strictly Come Dancing, Andy Murray, and also Ashes. I know.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
We're going to play an interview in a bit with someone I did yesterday who has had a tattoo done with the ashes of her dead son in the ink. So he is now literally a part of her body again. It's an odd story. It's in. We'll here. It's Lisa. We'll play that in a second. But I want your thoughts on that, please. Do you think, yeah, fair play, that's great, or do you think, oh dear, that's a bit odd? I went in thinking, oh, that's a bit odd and a bit disgusting. To actually thinking, well, you know, hey, that's how she wants to pay tribute to her son. Well, then, good for her. Good for her. But also your ashes stories, please. Where have you? You know, you can't scatter ashes just anywhere. I thought you could go anywhere and just scatter. You can't. You've got to get permission from the council. No one really does that, do they? 03453 009956. Spencer's in Walsall. Morning, Spence.
Morning.
What you got for us, boss?
Mate, my nan passed away about 4 years ago on Valentine's Day, and we buried her ashes at the crematorium on top of Grandad and where everybody else is scattered.
Yeah.
And me and my nan never got on greatly, to be fair, but towards the end, when she was in a home and everything, we was quite close. And she always had the last laugh type of thing. And I don't know if you ever spread ashes of a person, but there's a handle you have to squeeze for the vents to open in the casket for all the ashes to come out.
Hang on a second. No, I've done. So what, you have to squeeze something?
Yeah, they give you the ashes in a tub, and the handle that you hold has got like a switch in it that you have to that opens vents on the side of the brass urn type thing.
I didn't know that.
So there was me, my sister, my mum, my dad, and we all went to spread Nan's ashes, but none of them could get the gist. I'm not saying they're stupid, but none of them could get the gist of holding the handle and spreading the ashes.
That's stupid.
So it came to me to do a spread, and as I gripped it really hard, all the vents opened. I flicked all the ashes round the area, and the wind changed direction.
Oh, no.
And all my Nan ended up all over me. And I'm still today, 3-4 years later, finding bits of Nan in my denim jean pockets. It's absolute bonkers, mate. You don't normally see people laughing in a crematorium, but we was in absolute tears. It was in my mouth, it was in my eyes, it was in my jeans.
It's Nanny trying to give you one more big kiss, Spencer. That's what it is.
That's what it was, mate. Yeah, she was. We was close towards the end, which I'm really pleased about.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's all over me now, literally.
What a lovely story, Spencer. Thank you for that. What a lovely story. Weird but lovely. I always thought that was a myth. The scattering of ashes and the wind blowing back and blowing all over. I never thought that happened. But there you go. I've never scattered ashes. Never scattered. I said, when we buried my dad's, I thought we were going to scatter them. I was a bit disappointed when we found out we were going to bury them. I thought it was going to be a bit of the old scattering in the wind. There was none of that. 03453 009956. Your stories on that, please. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, because yesterday I spoke to Lisa Richmond, who claims to be one of the first people in the country to have had an ash tattoo. She runs a tattoo parlour called Gods of Ink. I asked her why she decided to have it done.
A cremation tattoo, they're called.
A cremation tattoo, OK.
Yeah, and it's where you put the ashes from a loved one or a pet into the ink for tattooing.
Can I ask whose ashes you've had?
My late son.
Oh gosh, I'm terribly sorry to hear that. So this, and what image have you had tattooed?
I've had a portrait of him. He was 29 months old when he passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I felt that I'd lost something big to me, and I wanted him with me forever. And his portrait and the words, "My son will walk with me forever," on my arm.
What made you take the bold decision of having the ashes? What made you take the decision to have the ashes included in the tattoo?
Because if you think about it, when you're carrying your child, they're obviously you're carrying them, that they're in your womb and that, and then they're born. And when you lose them, that's it, they're gone forever. So to have his ashes, that's part of him again. And I wanted that with me. I wanted it with me forever. And that was the only thing I could think. I can carry his ashes around all day long, but he's with me still forever now, 24 hours a day.
And I'm assuming you find that very comforting.
I do, yeah. Very. A lot.
What have people said to you about this? Have they thought... Because I've never heard of this before. I don't know how common it is. But it does sound a little bit odd, doesn't it, to have someone's ashes included in a tattoo?
No, not really. I mean, I've never had nobody say to me, "Oh, my God, that's disgusting." I had one person... I mean, we've done, like, various TV shows with it. We had a double page spread in the Sun newspaper regarding the Ashes tattoos. We have people travelling to us from all over the UK and abroad to come and have the Ashes tattoos done. And we've even started doing the cremation pet tattoos now as well. I mean, there's nothing bad that can go wrong. I had this done like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still a healthy woman. You know, I've not had no problems with it or anything like that. And there is no problems. On the Sun newspaper, they actually had the doctor at the Sun newspaper who actually put her little bit in an article, and she also couldn't comment and say anything bad about it, which we was quite chuffed about, because we was actually panicking a little bit, thinking, oh, I wonder what she's going to say, because she always says bad things about things.
Yeah.
But she didn't have one bad thing to say about it.
Lisa, you said your husband Mark is there. He's the gentleman that does these things. Can I have a quick word with him?
Yep, he's here. Bear with me.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello, Mark. It's Iain. How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. All right.
Yeah, good, thank you. Were you the first person to do this?
I was the first person to bring it to the UK after I lost my little boy, yeah.
How did you first hear about it?
I had some friends in America I was speaking to, because when my little boy was dying, it was such a rare disorder that he had. They tried to look to America for these signs of why he had such a severe disorder. And we spoke to some families over there, and it had been done over there. And I thought to myself, because of my trade and what we'd gone through, it was just something a little bit special for us.
How, this might sound like a ridiculous question to you, how clean is it? Because I would have always thought ashes were, by their very nature, dirty.
No, because of the way they're actually dealt with and they're treated, and the process they go through to, obviously, the cremation process, heat it goes to. We spoke to a lady as well who was also a professor and a doctor. She wrote for the one of the newspapers on it. She said she checked it all out. She had no problems with it whatsoever, and it was absolutely fine and safe.
I can understand I can particularly understand your story. Terribly sad to lose, a little boy just over 2 years old.
Yeah.
People doing it with their pets, though, Mark. I can't quite get.
Yeah. I mean, I think what the problem is with that is we're all individuals. We all have our own ways of dealing with our grief. We have our own ways of getting over things, and regardless of the loss, I think it's up to that individual, the way they proceed to make a memory of that. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I do find it a bit strange with pets sometimes, but then, that's that person grieving. I knew a lady who'd lost her husband in the war. She couldn't have children. They never had children. He died before she got married, and she came to me. She'd lost one of her pets, and it was almost like losing a child, and she was an old lady.
Yeah.
I think you just have to respect each person's wishes, really.
How many of these cremation tattoos have you done?
Oh, we've done quite a few. It just depends. A lot of it's more private. It's not done in, shop hours and things like that. I do it as a more private thing because I've got some celebrities, quite big celebrities, that have had it done recently. And obviously that has to stay private. But, they've had it done and everything's been absolutely fine. Everything's healed. They're quite happy.
Yeah.
It doesn't heal any different. It doesn't take any longer.
Penn, Pensnet,
Rugeley, Redditch,
Rowley Regis. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM 95.6.
So there you go. There you go. Cremation tattoos. They have had bits of their deceased son tattooed into the body. I'm not a fan of tattoos. I don't get tattoos. I do think there is something weird about people that have tattoos. I think there's something lacking from them. They're obviously trying to make up for some deficiency somewhere. That's fine. Bits of ash tattoos in their body. Your son, I could kind of get. Your mum, couldn't get that. That would be weird. Your pet dog? That is flipping nuts, isn't it? I just stopped myself in time. That is absolutely insane. I love my cat Velvet. I love her. When she dies, which will be soon, she's old, she's 15, I'm not going to have her tattooed into my body, her ashes. I will get her ashes. We'll get ashes, and we will have a little ceremony in the back garden. Of course we will. Of course we will. But I'm not going to have her tattooed into my body. That's strange, isn't it? Your ash stories, please. 03453 009956. And kind of speaking about, well, I mean, these two stories, I suppose, go together in a weird way. Would you ever eat... Well, Well, I'm being shouted at by my producer for doing perhaps the most tasteless and ham-fisted link of all time. OK, I'm going to go to the travel now, and then we'll talk about would you ever eat something that tastes like human flesh afterwards. Let's get the travel news on BBC WM 95.6 with Lisanne.
Thank you very much. Well, if you're heading out, good news for the M42, where all lanes have reopened following a tyre change. It was causing a bit of disruption at Junction 8, the M6 link. All clear again, traffic moving well. Not doing too badly in and around Birmingham either this morning even. If you're heading into the city centre, it's still looking clear on all approaches. And once you get into town, there's no disruption or problems to be aware of. If you're heading out on the M6 northbound, everything's fine. If you're heading in the opposite direction down towards the Warwickshire area, you'll find it's still a bit slow going around the barrier repairs between Junction 3A from the M6 toll to 3 up to Coventry. But past there, traffic moving once again nicely for us and looking a bit better around there. We did have delays earlier back to Junction 4, but it seems to be easing off, just a little bit slow still past the scene. Not doing badly on public transport, but if you can update us, it's BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
Friend or foe will share this dream.
And it is that man, Agbonlahor, who gives Aston Villa the lead.
Let rivalries return. Get behind your team.
Paul Downing puts Walsall 3-1 up.
You always need someone to share every moment. We'll be there till the season's end.
Great ball, Thomas, root for the net, and Blues are in front.
Your club is our club. The goal horn awaits, my football friend.
The station for commentary this season.
BBC WM
95.6.
Don't forget, midday, Daz Hale will be on. Well, hopefully we'll speak to him before 12 to find out where he is and what he's up to this week. Gordon's in Lee Bank. Morning, Gordon.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Do you know what, Gordon? I'm all right. I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit peckish.
Yeah. You like a cup of coffee?
I've got a nice cup of coffee on the go here, actually. That's doing me the world
play,
of good.
yeah.
Fair play. So I'm all right. How are you, Gordon?
I'm brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant.
Hey, well, that's good to hear.
What I'd like to say is the ladies at the tattoo with the ashes of a son, I think, son or daughter.
It was her son, yeah.
Well, I think that's a wonderful idea. But I also think, really, in my own heart, and the way I look at it, is that I would rather have his photograph of the child on my arm or my body, wherever he is, because you could always take him everywhere you go.
Well, I think
He's
the tattoo is a picture of him, but to make it more personal, as well as it being a picture of him, it's also made up partly of his ashes.
Well, that's a good question for me to answer. But I think she's a wonderful woman, any case.
Yeah.
She's a woman who loved the daughter, who loved the son.
The son, yeah. You wouldn't wish what she and her partner have been through on anybody. How sad is that?
I wouldn't. I don't care who the person is.
All right, I tell you what we can do to take this away from Lisa a little bit. They also mentioned that some people have their pets' ashes tattooed into their body.
Well, I think there again you're talking about two different things altogether.
That is properly weird, isn't it?
I would say it is a bit weird, but you know, these tattoo artists that do such wonderful tattoos.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the tattoos.
I'm not. I mean, I haven't got one at all.
No.
But I think if I'd lost my ex-wife, I think I'd have a tattoo of her on my arm.
Your ex-wife?
Yeah, because I love her to bits.
But why is she your ex-wife?
Because we're divorced.
But you still love her?
I do, yeah. I just love her to bits. I mean, she can argue blind with me, and I just ignore it at times.
But wouldn't that be... Would there might be some people who think that if you have a picture of your ex-wife, your divorced wife, on your arm... There's some people might think that's a little bit sad.
Well, that's up to them. But it's my choice, Ian. This is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Yeah.
This is my choice. So everywhere I went, every time I looked at that tattoo in the mirror, I know that she's always here with me.
Even though she literally doesn't want to be there with you.
But even if she don't want to be there with me, I still have her with me. And that's the important thing. That's what I think of her. I love her to bits.
Do you still speak to her, Gordon?
I spend every weekend with her. We go on holiday together.
Hang on a minute. This is... OK. Then why on earth did you get divorced? If you obviously both still have affection for each other. Why are you divorced?
It just didn't work for us. End of story.
So are you saying that... And tell me as much as you want. I don't want to get too personal. You're saying you were married, it didn't work, you got divorced, and you have a better relationship now?
We have a better relationship now than what we've always had, even though I love her to bits.
Isn't that funny?
It is, but, people are like that. Once they divorce, I said, I don't want something to do with you.
Yeah.
But I'm not like that. It's the love and the affection in my heart that I love her to bits. That's why I love her so much.
Have either of you found love in other people?
Yeah.
So are you with someone else?
No.
She's with someone else?
No.
What? So neither of you are with someone else?
No.
Why don't you get married again?
No.
Wouldn't work.
I'm sorry, Ian.
Hey, no, listen.
Go into detail.
No, Gordon. No, listen. Listen. You don't have to apologise for a thing. I apologise if I've upset you in any way. It's just it's an unusual setup, Gordon, and I hope I've not touched a raw nerve anywhere.
No, I don't think you have.
Good lad. Because you can always tell me to shut up if I'm being too nosy.
But like I said, I'd have a photograph. I would have go out to get a special tattoo done of my ex-wife.
Hey, here we go. When was the last time you dressed up as a woman, Gordon?
I've never dressed up as a woman.
No, but be honest. When was the last time you did it?
Be honest, Ian. If I drop dead now, I've never dressed up as a woman.
I'm not sure I believe you.
Whether you believe me or not, I don't care. That is your prerogative.
Gordon, you're a good sport. I'll speak to you soon.
Goodbye, mate. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, mate. Ta-ta. Thank you very much. 03453 009956.
Darlaston,
Edgbaston,
Erdington,
Paisley, Gornal Wood. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM 95.6.
By the way, I do like to ask questions. If I ask you a question that you don't want to answer, you can just tell me to shut up. I won't be offended at all. You set up boundaries and stuff. I was just intrigued by what sounded like a very unique setup that they have there together as ex-husband and ex-wife. Sounded fascinating. Gordon, thank you very much for being a good sport and thank you for sharing what you felt comfortable sharing. Mavis is in Coventry. Good morning, Mavis.
Morning.
What have you got for us today?
Yes, I've left my body to Birmingham Medical School, despite what my eldest son says. Who the heck would want your body when you finished with it?
How
we have a very good relationship. I've got two sons. I'm a widow, actually. And then, actually, because obviously, if... as my eldest son, you get the bits back in black plastic bags. You have to be cremated.
Yes.
And then I've arranged, because Coventry Cathedral, which I belong to, because we lost one of our members, women's organisation, we were asked if we would put down what we wanted to happen when we died, which I think is a darn good idea. It saves a lot of arguments. And then I've asked for my ashes to be scattered in Webley Hereford Churchyard, where I was confirmed.
Oh, very nice. So you've got it... I think you're a rarity, Mavis, in that you've got it all planned out. You know exactly what's happening the moment the light goes off.
Yeah, I'm the same age as the Queen, you see.
Oh gosh. You got loads of life left in you then. This is some way off. Why have you chosen to give your body to medical research?
Because I've had cancer.
Yeah.
I'm an epileptic.
Oh.
I've got glaucoma and cataracts. And
so they can have a right route around then. And, no.
I've got ulcerated colitis, and right. I think, because I believe, well, I try and believe in helping other people with illnesses. If they can find a cure by using bits of my body, then so be it.
That's very noble.
No, it isn't really. It's trying to help other people. I mean, I've seen people, because I go away, and they've had, anything cancer. I mean, I'm in remission from cancer. I'm lucky.
Good for you.
But,
well done.
If they can help to find some cure or anything by using parts of my body, I'll be glad. Well, I won't be there, but I will be pleased.
And are your family okay with this? Because I know sometimes families know what they want for their loved ones that pass, and it doesn't always tally with what that person wants.
Yeah, well, you see, actually, the youngest son now is a priest in Hampshire. Well, they've no children. He's married. They're both legitimately married, I might add.
Okay.
And she was a solicitor. She had hysterectomy cancer, so she couldn't have children. I thought they'd adopt. John was very low when his father died, because both the boys were very close to the dad, if you know what I mean, because they were friends sort of thing as they got older. And so I said to Doreen when they were coming up, I said, look...
Who's Doreen?
Doreen's his wife.
His wife, okay, right. So obviously,
I said to her, look, I don't believe in interfering, but you will have to do something to help John get over his dad's death.
Yeah.
And he was a church warden then anyway, and he'd served at Coventry Cathedral, so he was used to church services. Yeah. And, of course, he couldn't say anything because they have to do 12 months and go before bishops and clergy and that before they're accepted. Right. So his dad never knew. His dad died in the meantime. Well, his dad had died.
Yeah.
But, at least wherever his dad is, he's probably looking down saying, good on you, son, sort of thing. No, my husband was ex-Royal Navy, so, the relationship was very good indeed. I'm always very pleased about that. When I hear about families who don't have a lot to do with each other, I think it's such a shame.
Isn't it?
But there you are. That's my little story.
I've fallen out with some of my family.
Have you?
Yeah, I fell out with my dad.
I can't imagine you doing that.
Mavis, you cheeky sausage! It's interesting. I fell out with my dad's side of my family for 25 years, and we got.
God.
Yeah, I know, a long time. And we got back together when my dad was dying, and boy, oh boy, am I glad. So I see all my uncles and my aunts and my cousins on that side of the family, and what could have been a really awkward moment was actually really lovely. And
well, this is it.
It was everything was forgotten.
Because you knew you were going to lose something, weren't you?
Yep, everything was forgotten.
To you.
But now I don't speak to my mum's side of the family. Isn't it terrible? It's terrible, isn't it? It's so... Families are so complicated, aren't they?
Well, they are, you see, and very often it's over small things that you can fall out over, which I think actually, as I think, life is so short. And if you do fall out, for God's sake, make it up before you die.
Mavis, God bless you for phoning up and sharing your stories with us. I really appreciate it. Nice to speak to you.
Then.
See you later on. Ta-ta.
Bye.
There we go. That's why I love doing this show. Because you get people like Mavis phoning up. I've learned more about Mavis in the last 5 minutes than I know about my next-door neighbour. Been there for 2 years. Isn't that funny? How wonderful. Well, how privileged we are, myself and producer Joe, that people trust us enough to phone up and tell us all of that. Isn't that nice? Yeah, we get people like Andy saying I'm a nauseating Richard and I'm going to get a good hiding. However, we get people like Mavis who trust us enough to tell us their stories. Thank you, Mavis. That's absolutely delightful. Have a really nice day. Brian's in Hall Green. Morning, Brian.
Morning, how are you?
I'm really touched after speaking to Mavis.
I was just about to say I've been listening to Mavis. And how lovely it was to listen to her. Very well spoken.
Isn't she nice?
Humanitarian.
Yeah, isn't she absolutely delightful? She's got me sussed completely, which is good. So well done her. Brian, what have you called in for?
Over 70 drivers. Yeah. I'm 76.
So I'm assuming you've handed in your driving licence?
No. I passed my test first time in 1960. I have no points on my licence whatsoever.
Yeah.
I drive every day of the week.
Yeah.
I play golf twice a week.
Oh.
I've had cancer. I don't drink or smoke.
Yeah.
And I believe talking about age as a means of stopping drivers is absolutely ridiculous.
What do you do for fun, Brian?
I do all sorts of things for fun. I restore old vehicles.
Can you explain? We did, listen, as well as doing this show on Saturdays, we also do Fridays 2 till 4 now. And yesterday, I was trying to get someone to explain what's fun about golf, because I don't get it. Where's the joy in that?
Well, let me put it this way: I've played golf since I was 15 years old.
You must be tired.
And no, I'm not. It's a way of keeping fit for a start off, and it takes everything out of it. All the worries I used to have. I've got 5 kids, I've still got 5 kids, but they're not at home now, of course.
Yeah.
Any worries I had from work or at home, go on the golf course and you forget the lot after the first hole.
Have you ever scored a hole in one?
I've scored 4 holes in one.
Have you really?
I have, really, yeah.
What? That must be such a satisfying feeling for that to happen.
Well, it is, yeah, because it's not expected, is it?
No.
Face it.
And
Yeah.
do you, I'm assuming that when you do that, you are paraded around the golf green like a king, and everyone buys you drinks.
No.
Oh, what happens?
Because, well, when you get a hole in one, you buy everyone drinks.
What?
Yes.
Well, in that case, I would aim to get right near the hole, and then just get it hole into. There was a fella. I was listening to 5 Live the other day. There was a gentleman in a golf tournament. Don't ask me which one. I don't know. On the 15th hole, he scored a hole in one.
Yeah.
Have a guess what his prize was.
I think I could remember that one, but it wasn't a car.
No, it was better than a car.
I can't think what it was now. I remember it, but I can't.
This was recently. It was a trip to space.
Oh, that's right. It's a space trip.
He won a space trip.
Worth about £100,000, they reckon, don't they?
How cool is that?
I know. I remember that.
That's brilliant. He won a trip to space for a hole in one. That's incredible.
Right, let's get back to 70 drivers.
OK, you've noticed I've been distracting you. Yes, go on.
Yeah,
Well done.
I did notice that, yeah.
I like you, Ryan. Go on.
I don't believe that age should be anything to gauge a person's ability to drive by. It should be whether they are good, bad, or whatever.
Yes.
I live in Foxhollies Road in Hall Green, and you probably used to have this going past.
Yeah.
Foxhollies Road and Highfield Road in Hall Green were made 30-mile-an-hour limits.
Yep.
Nearly 18 months ago, 2 years ago.
And I bet absolutely nobody sticks
and
to
there
it.
is no one coming down here. And I wouldn't mind having a side bet that they're not all 70-year-old people driving who do it.
Now, listen, but the thing is, I know there are lots of younger people that are bad drivers, OK? And younger people are probably worse drivers, but it doesn't mean we can't look at other groups of people that perhaps aren't the best drivers. Now, I have softened my approach.
Hang on.
Go on.
But you're actually pointing a finger at over 70.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right. I'm not saying that there aren't any 70-year-olds that shouldn't be on the road.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you can't categorise every person over 60 as being
70.
not able to drive properly.
No, but I'm aware that when we're talking about something like this, we kind of have to use generalisations to make it work. But it is a fact, Brian, that the older we get, our body deteriorates, our eyesight, our reactions, our thoughts, all of those things deteriorate. So when you are older, 70, there is a higher chance that you won't be up to scratch when it comes to driving. Now, a couple of years ago, I would have said ban everyone over 70. I've softened. Medical tests and driving tests over 70 every 2 years.
Wouldn't bother me at all.
Beautiful. Then we've agreed.
We've agreed that, we've agreed that your idea of banning people over 70 is not the right idea.
I'm not damning anybody over 70, Brian, please. I'm just saying that we need to be a bit more responsible.
Yeah, well, yes, I think so. But it shouldn't be just people over 70 being more responsible.
No,
I think people who've got a driving licence, full stop, should be as responsible as each other.
Should we shake hands?
Well, we haven't had a need to do anything else but shake hands, have we?
I think.
We've had a discussion without falling out, surely.
And I've been proved right, and we've left as friends. Brian, you're a good sport. Enjoy your weekend.
And you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. There we go. You see, Ranjit. That's the gentlemanly way of doing it. You could learn a lot from that last caller.
Hiya, you're right.
Yeah, I'm fine, Ranj.
I'm always gentle, man.
Lee.
Always gentle.
You're always gentle.
I'm always gentle.
But you're a very gentle man.
Yeah. Anyway, how's your back? Because you've been on the ropes all morning. I mean, that bloke that offered you for a boxing fight, you know what? I think that was the pinnacle of your career today.
Ranjit, I'm a pacifist, mate. I don't believe in violence unless it's Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee in one of their films, in which case, then I love it. But
he says, right, he was going to shake hands with you after. Anyway.
Yeah, after he beaten me up.
No.
Isn't it funny? The younger generation, Ranjit, they're knife crime, gun crime, hoodies, they're so violent. No, It's the 75-year-olds who want to invite fit young men like me round for a boxing match.
Yeah, he was doing it the old-fashioned way. You know what I mean? You know, let's sort it out. Because, you know, you was trying to demoralise all the 70-year-olds.
I am not. No, I've not been trying to demoralise all the 70-year-olds. You're not listening to what I'm saying. And I'm certainly not going to go round to his house and take a battering in the ring from him.
I don't blame you. He might batter you around the ring, yes. But,
He might do, yes. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway,
What would you like me to
talking
beat you
about
on today?
road rage,
Yes,
yeah?
away you go.
Okay, you know this road rage, what happens is when you get imbalance of power, when there's 4 or 5 of them in a car and you're on your own, yeah? They give you the fist, they give you the finger. But if there was 4 or 5 of you and one of them's on their own, I bet you they wouldn't do it then, right? Unless they are not and they're looking for a good hiding.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I don't suffer from road rage, but I do get slightly angry when people don't know how to drive.
Right, so that's road rage.
No, it's in road rage.
What do you mean by slightly angry?
No, okay.
You shouldn't be getting angry at all when you're behind the wheel of a car, Ranger. You're an unsafe driver.
No, I'm a safe driver. So
Well, you're getting angry. You're losing control of your emotions.
I'm not, right? Anger is a childish emotion.
Yeah, but yet you get it when you're driving. That doesn't sound safe to me.
Angry, that doesn't come in. That's not road rage. And now, don't hit and run. Right? Let me explain to you. You're driving along, come to a traffic island, and the roads are clear all the way. Why have you got to stop and then proceed?
What traffic island? Do you mean a roundabout?
A roundabout, yeah.
Right. You don't even know the terminology, Ranjit.
That's what they call traffic islands.
No, they're called roundabouts.
Okay, for simpletons, a roundabout then, yeah?
I bet you're one of those people that insists on calling it the Union flag. All right, yeah, that's what it's actually called, but everyone calls it the Union Jack.
Well, I call it the Union Jack, to be honest with you.
Well, you shouldn't. It's the Union flag.
Okay, now, why are you changing the subject for now? I'm trying to explain to you.
Because I am running. I'm being Muhammad Ali to your
I'm
Joe
driving
Frazier.
along
I am
I'm
running
driving along in
rings
front-
around you, Ranjit.
I'm driving along in front of you, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're behind me. You're doing. You proceed down the road at 30 miles an hour and slow down to about 15 miles an hour.
Okay.
And I'll suddenly put my brakes on when there's nobody else at the roundabout, yeah?
Right. Yep.
Now, you have to not slam your brakes.
No, I wouldn't slam it, Ranjit. Yeah. I wouldn't be slamming my brakes on because I would be keeping a safe distance and I'd be reading the road ahead of me.
You've had to stop, yeah?
I've had to stop, yeah.
You've had to stop, and there's nobody else on the roundabout, yeah? Now, that is bad driving on my behalf because what I should do is make my observations, right, and have a look. There's nobody at the roundabout, so what I'll do is carry on carefully proceeding, which I haven't caused you to slow down or stop.
Permission to speak freely, Ranjit.
Go on.
This is one of the dullest calls you've ever made.
No, it ain't.
You're describing you approaching a roundabout.
I'm saying this is how road rage starts when there's
Well, then you
idiots on the
shouldn't
road.
you shouldn't be getting angry if someone's they've stopped. It delays you for a quarter of a second. You drive on again. Why are you getting angry?
Driving.
That's bad anger management on your part.
No, it isn't. It's bad driving. It's bad. That's what annoys me, right? But I wouldn't get into road rage. But there's a lot of bad driving. I mean, I stand outside where I work, yes, and I see people road raging 4 or 5 times a day because of the location where I work, yeah? Okay? Now, that's how road rage develops because there's idiots on the road. It's no good you saying to people who are over 70, right, that they're going to have a test. There's people who are in their 40s that don't know how to drive. What they've done is they've passed their test, yeah, and they've done everything right, got no minors or whatever, but they still can't drive. That's what the problem is, and age has got nothing to do with it.
Right, well, Ranjit, but this is where you are obviously wrong. The body and mind deteriorate as we get older. That's a fact.
So if you're 25 and you've passed your test,
Irrelevant,
your rate
mate.
of deterioration is really fast, yeah?
Irrelevant, mate.
Which
Irrelevant.
makes you a bad driver at 30, then what are you going to do?
No.
Wait till you're 70 before you go for a retest.
But so you're agreeing with the principle of retests then?
I'm not.
And medical tests.
No, principle of retest.
Well, you've just put forward an argument for actually bringing the medical test age down.
What I'm saying to you, people should know how to drive, not just pass their test.
Yeah, Ranjit, but it's smoke and mirrors. You're looking at my left hand. I want you to look at my right hand. Yes, young drivers might be bad, okay? So we should just focus all of our attention on young drivers and ignore the fact that other groups might not be good drivers.
You might pass your driving test at 25. By the time you're 30, yeah, you're a bad driver. So you start to deteriorate fast. Is that what you're saying? You have not learned the rules of the road, and that's where the road rage comes into it.
Oh,
when
Ranjit,
I see a driver who does not...
Mate,
the rules
listen.
of the road...
Ranjit, listen, can I... 2 out of 10 today, dull and really, really poor arguing. I thought I'd trained you up to be at least a 6 out of 10 when it comes to arguing. You're all over the shop, mate. You're punch drunk.
You've been battered too much today.
You're punch drunk. Listen, Ranjit, my suggestion, okay, is turn the rate. Just don't think for the next week, okay? Just relax that little mind of yours, and we'll try again next week, okay?
I'm going to give you 10 out of 10 next week.
Thank you very much indeed, Ranjit. I look forward to it. I only want the best for him. 3, 4, 5. I do like Ranjit. There'll be people taking offence at the way I spoke to him. I can speak to him like that because he gets it. He gets it. For goodness sakes. Now, The Star. Not a newspaper I read that often, but page 21. Man, what a headline. Now I eat meat, right? I'll eat anything that had a face. Oh, I confused the Chinese restaurant last night. I went for a Chinese. I asked for sweet and sour lamb. The guy said, what? Sweet and sour lamb, please. He'd never heard of it. I don't know the rules of meat. Well, in The Star, human flesh burger. A chef has devised a burger that tastes just like human flesh. And boy, oh boy, who wouldn't want to try some of that? Huh? 03453 009956. Andy Waters is a chef. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. First of all, have you ever had sweet and sour lamb before?
I haven't actually. It's usually pork because of their origins, really, more so.
Yeah, because I didn't know. I don't know the rule. I've been a vegetarian for 25 years. I've just started eating meat this year, and boy, I'm loving it. And I don't know the rules of meat, so I asked for sweet and sour lamb, and the guy gave me the weirdest look. And afterwards he said, was that all right? I said, yeah, it was fantastic. He said, no one has ever asked us for that before.
No, it's in their origins. It's pork is their main diet, stable diet.
Well, everyone, try sweet and sour lamb. It works. Anyway.
You know what they say? When in Spain.
Yeah, exactly. When in Spain, have a sweet and sour. Now, human flesh burgers. Obviously, it's not real human flesh, but this has been designed to have the texture and the taste of human flesh. It sounds wonderful to me.
Well, the first question I ask is, how does he know? Because I thought, cannibalism was ruled out for a start-off. and for two, I don't think he should put it on the menu as an advertising ploy to sell his dishes on his menu for a start-off. It's crazy. I mean, yes, OK, I'll try it, but I can't say I'd relate it to human flesh, etc. But I would actually relate it to something, but I don't know what. It wouldn't actually be that. I'll try and source some other flavour.
Well, apparently, now, people have eaten human flesh, so I'm guessing the research is right. Research shows that cannibals have said human meat tastes like pork or veal.
Yeah, I mean, I heard something quite some time ago. Whether it's true or not is, I was always told that firemen, whether it's true or not, is just what I was told once by a fireman. That firemen don't tend to eat pork because for the sole reason it smells like burning flesh.
Sorry, they don't eat pork.
They don't tend to eat pork because it reminds them of burning flesh. Wow. Whether that's true or not is another thing. But like I say, people obviously have these phobias and things like this and relate things to things like that. But, like I said, I mean, you can put anything to that tasting, not pork or chicken or whatever it is. It's one of those. It's what we feed them. It's what comes out in our skin. We used to feed pigs, slop food and all these pig bins and all this kind of thing. Now they're ruled out, but it's all worked on the same diet as what we do because pigs eat virtually anything. So I suppose what goes into our diet comes out through our skin, etc., through our meat, and so forth with pigs and animals.
Andy, as someone who hasn't really eaten meat for 25 years, and I'm just finding my ways along the world of meat, I've not really experimented with fish because I don't like fish. All fish taste the same. They just taste of fish. My favourite things at the moment are a nice medium steak, or I love barbecue ribs. It's a lot of effort for not much reward, but it's delicious. Where would you recommend I go? What should I be looking towards now?
Again, your ribs. I mean, it's like you say. Start with sauces. Let sauces do some of the work as far as bringing out the flavours of meat as well. The marriage of sauces with meat, and I think you just develop your palate that way. Yeah. Especially if you've been without meat for so long. I think, like you said, it's all experimentation. And like they say, slowly but surely, if you know what I mean.
I'm 41 years old. I had my first ever steak this year. Oh, man, why did you guys not tell me it tasted so good? I was sucking it. I was sucking the steak because the juice was just incredible.
Magic. And that's what I say. I mean, we've got some great home breeds as well.
Yeah.
Scottish and English.
Beautiful.
It's like you say, buy well, you get them succulent flavours.
Andy, you're a good sport. Nice to talk to you. That's Andy Waters, who's a chef. 03453 009956. Yeah, I'm not going to ask if you've ever eaten human flesh. Of course not. No, I'm not going to. But if you saw a burger that was labelled as tastes and feels like real human flesh, come on, guy, you would, wouldn't you? BBC WM 95.6, last 15 minutes of the show. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Lizanne.
Thank you very much. Well, if you're heading out, the motorways still looking a little bit troublesome in the Warwickshire area where the M6 has lane closures, 3A at the M6 toll to 3 for Coventry. So you're down to 2 lanes as lane 3 remains closed in both directions. Traffic seems to be coping much better than it was earlier today. Looking okay if you're heading out across the rest of the Midlands. Looking fine for Birmingham itself as you're coming into the city centre. Busy on the Coventry Road through the Sheldon stretch at the Eagle Court Business Park up towards the Wheatsheaf at the Hobbs Moat stretch. But that's a routine kind of patch where traffic does tend to build up. No major problems if you're heading out towards Wolverhampton. It looks like the Ring Road is moving nicely for you there. If you're making your way on public transport, just checking departure boards for you locally. It looks like services continue to run well, but do bear in mind the Midland Metro has ongoing works taking place, so there's no service between Wolverhampton, St George's and Priestfield due to the engineering works. You can use your tickets on National Express West Midlands services instead. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 002288.
Thank you very much.
Inside Out asks why so many sex attacks on buses, trains and trams are going unreported.
Kind of constantly on edge, and I don't like getting the bus at all. I'm suspicious of any guy that gets on the bus now.
And we ask, what's being done to stop it?
These offences are occurring on a regular basis on the public transport network, and less than 5% we believe are actually reported to us.
Inside Out, Monday 7:30 on BBC One.
Oh, 03453 009956. I'm going to be on the Alan Titchmarsh show next week. I'm not sure when. I'm doing it on Monday. I hate to break it to you. I think it's pre-recorded. I think they tape it. Me versus Nick Ferrari on the Alan Titchmarsh show. Dreams are made of this stuff. And I tell you who else is going to be on there. Susie Dent. Susie Dent, guys? Dictionary Corner. I love Susie Dent. I'm going to be on the Alan Titchmarsh show with, guess what? Alan Titchmarsh, Nick Ferrari and Susie Dent. I am living the dream. Literally, we can hear you cackling away. Literally living the dream. I'm living the dream, Rob.
Nice one.
Yeah, nice one. What have you called in about, Rob?
Yeah, I haven't heard all the show, but I was driving home and I heard your interview with a lady with a tattoo.
Oh, this was Lisa, who'd lost her son, and she had a tattoo of him done, but also incorporated his ashes into the ink. So his ashes are part of that tattoo.
Yeah, fascinating, mate. I think it's, if you want to go down that road, I think it's a fantastic idea. But the one thing that struck me is, I don't know the process of a cremation. I know... All I know is the coffin gets down and then it's burned. But how can you be 100% sure? Because if you like ashes like dust, you don't get nobody else's in with.
Oh, Rob, that's a macabre thought. I hadn't considered it. I do know that, and I think this is right, that the most of the when you get an urn of your nan's ashes, that actually only a really tiny percentage of that is the body. That the rest of it is the clothes and the coffin. Most of it's the coffin, I think. So only a tiny bit of that. But are you suggesting that there might be a mix-up?
No, I don't know, mate. All I know is ash. It creates a lot of dust, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So there's going to be dust about from previous cremations, if you like. So all I'm saying is, how do you know it's 100% yours?
I bet, right, and I bet we won't get any funeral directors or anyone phoning in to admit this. I bet that at some point in history, a funeral director or a cremator, I don't know if that's a word, has knocked over somebody's ashes and has kind of used a dustpan and brush to sweep them up and put them back in, and then maybe grab some ashes from somewhere else to fill it out a bit. That must have happened, mustn't it? They're only human after all.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. But I've got a topic maybe for next week for you.
Yeah, go on, Rob. Always looking for content because we ain't got much.
Yeah, when you go in a taxi car...
Yep.
Now, from October, you're not going to be issued with a tax disc.
Don't get the tax disc anymore. Man, I'm going to miss those boys. I like a tax disc.
So, when you're walking down the street, a good-fearing resident, you can see a car that's out of date, tax disc, 3 months.
Yeah.
How are you going to know if anything's legal?
Oh. Why would that bother you?
Huh?
Why would it bother you?
Because it bothers me that I go through the procedure of paying my road fund licence.
Yeah.
But there's cars on the road that don't, and they clearly don't by seeing an out-of-date tax disc. But now, everybody's going to be the same. You won't know what's legal and what's not.
I do kind of know the answer to this, because I've looked into this. Because I'm really boring. You can go online and type in their number plate, and it will let you know if that vehicle's licensed or not. But do you really, Rob, go down the street looking at people's tax discs?
No, I don't at all, but I'm just suggesting there are people... They're like a policeman walking down the road, very rare, but doing his beat.
Oh.
You might see a car parked up that's got an out-of-date tax disc. He's not going to be able to know that now, is he?
Rob, it's an interesting point. We you know what, we might have a little look into that, because that's happening, when's October? Like 2 weeks or something? I'm going to miss the tax disc. I like a tax disc. They're a nightmare to tear out, aren't they? But I do like them. Do you like the tax disc, Doreen?
I don't drive.
Oh. But you know what the tax disc is, don't you?
I know
the little round... I'm going to miss those.
Well, I'll never go looking, so I wouldn't. It don't interest me.
It was a little bit weird, wasn't it, that he wants to go looking at people's tax discs. Yeah, that's a bit strange.
Now,
yes.
I'll tell you a bit about funerals in a minute, but quickly about pork. My niece loved pork, but hated the smell of it. And a friend of ours, a policeman, he'd been out to several fires, and he said, you know what? He said, she don't know, but it smells exactly like a human being being burned.
Pork does?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's exactly the same smell as pork. Now, you said you get them up with a dustpan and brush, the ashes.
Yeah.
Well, you could pick them up in your fingers because they're not dust.
Oh.
They're pieces of grit, gravel, just like gravel.
Well, hang on a minute.
I had a shock when I opened my husband.
No, I don't...
when you see them on the films, they throw the dust over the board ship. Well, it's nothing like that whatsoever.
You're saying it's little bits of
gravel? It's like gravel. It's your bones all done.
Doreen,
it's like gravel.
Doreen, I think you were, with the greatest of respect, sold a pup. That can't be right.
No, the man next door to me was an undertaker, and he said, one chap at the crematorium when they was waiting, he said, have you ever seen a cremation, Ray? He said, no. He said, do you want to have a look, Ray? He said, yeah. He said, come down here.
What?
And that body's burnt before you leave the crematorium. As soon as it drops down, it goes straight into the oven.
For someone who's been to 2 cremations last year, boy oh boy, when you walk out of the crematorium and you turn around and you see the black smoke coming out of the chimney.
I've never looked for the black smoke.
Oh, that's a power. Doreen, stay there, because I'm joined now by Catherine Powell. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
You are from the Powell and Family Funeral Directors.
That's right.
Is what Doreen's saying correct, that it's not the black kind of powdery dust that we see on films? It's actually a bit gritty?
Yes, it is actually correct.
Oh.
You've got to remember how dense some bones are within the human body. And whilst there is some very fine ash, there is also quite substantial bone remnants as well.
Gosh, I hadn't expected that. Are there ever... and I'm sure that this has never happened to you, but are there ever any kind of accidents where, behind the scenes, ashes get spilt or knocked over or anything like that?
Not that I've heard of. We're all human, and mistakes, I suppose, must happen at some point, but never to the extent where we've been aware of issues.
Mm. And do we know what percentage of the ash is the actual person who's passed on, and what percentage is the coffin? I would imagine. I've always been led to believe that it's only a tiny percentage is actually the loved one that's been cremated.
No, it's actually the opposite.
Oh.
The coffin, because of the temperature of the cremation, the coffin is virtually vaporised.
Ah.
And so what you get is your loved one.
Well, do you know what? That's a great relief, because you've set my mind at ease on that one. Thank you, Catherine.
I'm so pleased.
No, thank you very much indeed. It's this, as I'm sure you're aware, this whole death thing and what happens leading up to it and after it, we don't really talk about. It's that weird British thing that we don't really like to talk about it, and even when it's happening.
Well, that's right, and that's a great concern to us as funeral directors, that people come to us as very vulnerable and ignorant consumers, and that can affect the decisions that you make, and your ability to choose absolutely the right service for you.
Why don't we? I mean, obviously I know why we don't like to talk about it, but it is that thing that's going to happen to everyone, and if you're I imagine that the average person might have to at least arrange at least one funeral, maybe several more throughout their lifetime.
Yeah, most people that come to us are really arranging for the very first time.
Yeah.
It's not something they've wanted to think about, and so they're having to make important decisions very quickly with no forethought. And part of our role as funeral directors is to try and get out into the community and talk to people and answer the questions that they have secretly held on to for many years, including, is it my loved one that I get back?
Well, this is what the caller earlier on was saying, that he wouldn't be surprised if there were bits of other people in there. Is it? Can you guarantee 100% that what you're getting is your Auntie Joan or Grandad Bill?
Absolutely. The cremation process is the regulated part of funerals. Nothing else. The funeral directors don't have to be qualified or licensed, but cremation is very, very strictly monitored, to the extent that there is the pollution control, for example. If one cremation, because it's all individual, if one cremation sets off an alert because perhaps someone's kept the shoes in and they're man-made materials, petrochemical based, they will go back to the funeral director and question what was in the box.
Catherine, I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much.
My great pleasure.
Catherine Powell there from Powell and Fat. She was good, wasn't she, Doreen?
Yes, and I'll tell you this, they go around with a magnet as well and get all the bits of metal out.
Do they really? Doreen?
Put that on the television.
Doreen,
there was a programme all about...
Yeah. Doreen, who's your favourite presenter on BBC WM 95.6?
Well, he's gone, Adrian.
Oh, he was good, wasn't he? I saw him the other day. He's all right. He sends his love.
Yes,
who's your second favourite?
I love Danny Kelly.
Who's your third favourite?
Not you, because you...
What?
You can be... you go on one sub. You phone up about one sub. You ask somebody about another. You haven't phoned about that. Now you ask me about...
Hang on. No, Doreen, hang on. Where would you put Daz Hale in terms of your favourite presenters?
He's more a football man, isn't he, Daz Hale?
Yeah, so where would you put him?
I don't listen to football very much. I listen to Frank, because I like Frank.
Okay, but you're saying you don't like Daz Hale?
I don't dislike him, but he don't... the programmes he usually does, I don't listen to, because it's more about sport.
Doreen?
Yep.
Say hello to Daz Hale.
Hello, Daz.
Morning, Doreen.
I mean, it's not I don't like you personally, you might be lovely, but what you talk about in one of my...
I tell you what, Doreen, he's a stirrer, isn't he? Isn't he a cheeky monkey?
Yes, he is. I'll tell you this, I could put my toe up his bum sometimes.
Can I invite you round next Saturday morning to do that? That I would like to see.
What a strange... Oh, Daz, what you got on the show today?
Yeah, good morning, Iain. Well, on the show from midday, obviously, I'm live at Villa Park today, building up to all of the big games, and we've got a massive afternoon of football and a massive weekend of football as well, with the Baggies to come tomorrow. So a couple of the talking points as we build up to the matches in early kick-off. Ever played with or against a famous footballer?
Oh.
Whether in a charity game, maybe competitively, maybe when you were at school before they became famous. And also, one of the games, the game we're covering tomorrow is Albion at Spurs, and Albion have got a Danny Rose in their team. So today, we're putting together a dream team of footballers you may find in your garden. Example, Rose. So footballers you may find in your garden, ever played with or against a famous footballer. And of course, talking about gardening, I'm still absolutely bowled over that you're going on the AT show, Alan Titchmarsh.
Yeah.
You've got to get a selfie done with AT.
Do you know what? I'm going to do that, Daz.
And do you know who his favourite singer is, by the way, because he's so into gardening?
Go on.
Fertiliser Minnelli.
Speak to you next
I'm here
week,
from
Daz.
12.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. It's embarrassing, isn't it, Keith? It's embarrassing. Doreen, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm laughing.
No, go away, because I've only got 20 seconds to do Keith. Thank you.
You there?
Keith, you got 20 seconds.
Right, reading from the highway code.
Yes.
When reaching the roundabout, you should give priority to traffic approaching from your right unless directed otherwise by signs, road markings or traffic lights. Therefore, you are not required to stop, as one of your callers complained.
Keith, excellently summarised. Thank you very much indeed. Joe, I think we got away with it again. Well, so far, we'll find out. That's it, that's your lot. Thanks for all of your calls. You can send me an email during the week if you want, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. Producer Joe and I will be back next Saturday at 9, but also don't forget, next Friday at 2. Daz is up next. Ta-ta.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
So on the way next then, we begin our build-up to all of the